All right, everyone. Just setting up for a couple more minutes, so just gonna grab some tea and we're gonna start a fun. All right, be right back. I'll be back in a minute or two, and then we're slowly gonna get started. So be right back. Zapal mu światło. Sorry guys, kid's still around, so I need to make sure that basically they're still getting ready for bed, so alright, I just need to make sure audio is right here. Alright, anyway, I think we're actually good to start. And we have so much to do today. I don't think I'll be finished tonight. So yeah, let's hope we can get far, but also let's make sure we enjoy. Because I think the whole purpose of doing this map reviews is to enjoy some StarCraft. Oh my god, I guess you guys can hear some screams from the back also. So maybe I should be maybe I should give it a couple more minutes before things settle. Hey Beamy, welcome to the stream. So I also need to just post the stream on the side. One sec. Guys, is sound okay? Because again, I have this. Oh, hey, Freaklink. Is sound fine? Because my devices are always getting messed up by kids in between. So I never know when I start a stream if things are in fact correct because they like to play with the mic. I think gain is maybe a little bit too much. Oh, you can see this is my big Sander enjoying brushing his teeth. So. Yeah, I got everything. Got the newest pack. I also prepared a little bit. Spent a good 5 minutes before the stream setting up the new Excel file. So let's have a look. Guys. Let's have a look. I mean, I guess I should do a proper intro to the stream later when more people join. But we have that one. Let me see if you can see this. Yeah, you can see this. Yeah, that should be okay. So what I have here is basically I've made this beautiful Excel table. I have thought a little bit about the scoring system, and also I recognize how many maps we have. Bloody hell, we have 46 maps. And what I also found surprising, maybe you, Freaklink, or someone from the map making community can also elaborate a little bit, because I didn't know last time we had most 4-player maps. This time seems we are into 2-player maps and a couple of 3-player maps. So that's quite exciting. I think 2-player and 3-player maps are much more exciting than 4-player maps by principle, right? I'm not talking about specific maps, but by principle, I think they are. So there's gonna be a lot of reviewing, and then we're gonna be checking all maps under this 4 main criteria. So first criteria will be to see the if the map is complete. So basically, you know, looking if everything is fitting well together. There are no empty spaces, and basically, you know what I mean, right? So we're gonna be giving 4 points for that. So every map that is complete is gonna get 4 points. Then we're gonna be judging gameplay, how the map is gonna play out in real world, considering different matchups, metagame, current metagame in all the matchups. You know, basically if it's an interesting map for the player. Then we're gonna look at the design, which we also did last time. So design is gonna be the criteria of how interesting is the map, right? Not interesting in the sense of gameplay, but interesting in the sense of unusual concepts, you know, things that maybe we have not seen before, or you know, maybe we have seen before, but we have some new interesting ways of using them. And then visuals, which is basically graphics, how the map looks like. So four points for a map being completed, and then we're gonna have between 0 and 2 points for each of those criteria, up to 10 points again, and then we're gonna have a total score in here, and then we're gonna have a chart to, when we're done, to see what is the distribution of all of those. Oh, hello. Hey, King Hio. Hey, Casper. Long time no see. Sure you'll manage all 46 today? I will see how far we get. I mean, I don't put any targets on how far we're gonna get. If we're gonna get far, then fine. If we're not gonna get far, then that's also fine. Then we're gonna have another stream. All right. But this is gonna be a YouTube recording, so I don't think we should be waiting for people. There's gonna be a long night anyway. Luckily it's Saturday, so we have some time to spend on this. I'm also a bit sick. I'm not feeling so well, so let's see how far we can bring it. Also, I'm thinking maybe I don't want any music in this stream. I mean, drum and bass is probably more for me for playing, but some kind of a nice lo-fi hip hop in the background is probably what we need at this point. So let's do that. Oh yeah. Do you like that? Oh yeah, that's much better. This is the kind of music we need in the background, guys. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into it. And so the order of the day is we're going to be looking at the map. We're going to evaluate it under different criteria. We're gonna enjoy each and every map. I'm not gonna be speedrunning this. I want to make sure that there is some reasonable feedback to the author, and also that we actually look at different aspects of the map. So we're gonna be checking the whole map and under all criteria. If it's gonna be 1, 5, 10 minutes per map, I don't know, but we're gonna see how it is. So one last thing I want to have here in the background, I want to have the authors here to shout out to them. So we're starting with Access Control version 0.8. This is actually created by Mr. Frickling. So we're gonna go alphabetical order. Mr. Frickling's in the chat, so happy to to talk to you directly. I will not be going through extensive summaries on Team Liquid at this point, so we're just gonna check it how it is. Okay. Show me the money. Black ship wall. Power overwhelming. So we're not annoyed by our body here in the other corner. All right, so 2-player maps. I mean, just before I jump into that one, I mean, the thing about 2-player maps, I think they're way more difficult to make. I think I said it last time during the last stream. I mean, 2-player maps are extremely difficult to make for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that it's difficult to use the whole map, I think, in a meaningful way, you know, to make the gameplay interesting. Secondly, because there are so many different ways, you know, how the 2-player map can play with symmetries, not symmetries as such, but you get my point. Like it's easy to make too many expansions or too few expansions. If you put like players like here at the bottom part, what do the top part, and so on. So on a 4-player map, you basically make 4 quarters of a map and you have a map that is ready. But on a 2-player map, you need to be much more careful and upfront with your design, I think. But let's see how it goes. There are so many two-player maps. I'm really curious what people made. And by the way, a small disclaimer, I have not looked at any maps so far. I have not read any comments about any maps, so I'm going completely blindly into this. I have no thoughts, no immediate thoughts, no considerations. It's going to be a completely raw run here. Okay, so map first one here. We have a nice big main here. By the way, maybe before jumping into it's a two-player map with this exactly the concept as I was talking about. It's everyone is in the bottom here, so very curious to see how the top of the map is gonna play like and how are the distances and so on and so. So anyway, so this is a nicely shaped main with some nice low ground here with vision. I like this a lot. A small entrance here. We can Terran wall it, and then we have 7 minerals here. So let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, it's 9, right? Yeah, 9 minerals. 9 plus 7 very standard. 14 is 96. So this is to make it, I think, right. So the last one is 8, I guess. I'm not sure about it. Maybe I'm traditional 1500. It seems like maybe a more traditional choice, but I guess it doesn't matter at all. All right, and then here we go into a natural, pretty wide entrance, seems like, but yeah, this is really wide. Wow, this is a super wide entrance, guys. So this is gonna already be tricky for some matchups. PvZ, for example. How do you wall this with PvZ double gate? So this is maybe a 1 square too wide from a gameplay perspective. Oh wow, okay, immediately before even going further into the map. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it later, but this is already siegeable, so this is, I think, not acceptable from a gameplay perspective. You can't put tanks here to kill your natural, but that's a different topic. Let's go further. So our little proby goes here. A lot of buildable terrain. Pretty Terran favored in my view, but that's fine. Because Terran can use this to very quickly turret and then get their base up here. So this is very good for Terran so far. TVP, also TVZ for that sake, I think. And then we have this nice third base with standard 7 minerals. Okay, so it's 977. So a pretty accessible third base, but I think primarily for Terran. Difficult Zerg for Zerg, to be honest. Very difficult for Zerg. And then we have this, okay, so then we have some conceptual stuff here. So then we go into that top part. And by the way, this is symmetrical, so we're just going to review 1/2 of the map, and then hopefully we're going to understand the total. So this is an interesting small little ramp. Fun ramp. We don't see that much of that. Always reminds me of an old map, 815, where there was a main base with a very little ramp that you can basically easily block with 1 unit. How this can play, I don't think it makes such a difference. I think it's probably a nuisance in this setup because this is so wide. So in theory, you can't really use it defensively because opponent can always go up from the top side. I don't know about, I don't know, is it like, can big units actually enter this? Or is it like only for small units? Let's just check it out, guys. Because if it's only small units, that would mean that the top part is completely sealed off from any big units. That would be pretty ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous, but interesting. So I don't want to say ridiculous. Is this only for like... Wow, okay. Wow, this is funky. So this is super funky, actually. So we have 3 bases on top of the map that can only be accessed with, you could say, like Zealots, Marines, Zerglings. This kind of units. I'm curious if Dark Templars can also get in, and High Templars. I think that's gonna give us a pretty good understanding. Dark Templar should be able to get through, but Dark Templar is actually quite big. Okay, it can get through, but Archons, I guess, can't get through, right? So this is gonna very much impact how this plays out. Hydras can definitely go for this. Hydras are pretty small. Archon can't make it. Wow. Okay, so this map is something else. So once again, let's recap very quickly, guys. So we have this main setup with 3 bases in line here and the mineral only in this position with big ramps and very short access. I mean, it's short route. I mean, between players. Huge middle. So this is a very difficult base to hold for any race, pretty much in any matchup. Protoss will get it harassed by Terran. Zerg is gonna get crushed by Zealots and whatnot. And it's also a little bit far from your natural. So defending it is much harder than attacking. So this base kind of is a little bit meaningless. But then we have this third base, again, rather hard to hold for any race except Terran in TVP, I would say. Terran in TVP can easily use it because of the buildable terrain. But then we have this top part of the map that is completely crazy. I actually haven't seen a setup like this. So let's do a little bit of a thought process here, how this can play out. So let's say you're Zerg versus Protoss. So Zerg takes his main base, takes his Natron, takes his third base over here. That basically makes sure that he only has to defend versus Zealot Dark Templar aggression or Zealot High Templar aggression. But with such a narrow ramp, it's very easy to just make a Sunken here, put 2 Hydras, and Zealots are not a threat for you. Of course, they can still get up from other angles, and then you have to hold it here. But you don't have to worry about mid-game pushes, right? So it's only early game that you have to be early mid-game that you have to be concerned about. Zealot Corsair, this kind of stuff is what is relevant here. I'm thinking, what about Terran though? Terran has got a horrible positioning here though, because if you're Terran, you can't put Vulture or Tank here. So if Protoss just decides to take the top of the map, it's pretty much you know, something that is impossible to fight against. I mean, if you're Terran in TvP, there's literally no way of killing this because Zealots will always be able to defend this. Couple Zealots will always be able to hold it, and Vultures or Tanks can't get in here. You can harass with drops, but I still feel Zealots are just an easy answer to any threat in TvP in this kind of situation. So this is definitely a big imbalance for TvP. I think ZVP, it could kind of be okay, but it's gonna definitely favor Zerg long term. I mean, in early game, you know, it's just a regular base because it's about Zealot, Templar, and Corsair. But in the later stages, when Goons and Archons are ruled out, the whole top goes to Zerg, basically. I think it's going to be very difficult for Protoss to take these bases and hold them, because you just can't defend with half of your army. Only half of your army will be able to defend it. So as much as I like this, I think this is very innovative with, you know, making half of the map like this. I would probably consider maybe cutting this into smaller chunks. So not making a whole top like this accessible, because this is basically free. For an imbalanced matchup like not imbalanced matchup, for a situation like TvP where Terran can't get in here but Protoss can, or for a situation like ZVP where Zerg can get here, Protoss it will struggle getting here long term. I think it would be better maybe to cut some of the bases, so maybe removing this base and making this like a, you know, like a maybe like a pocket expansion. Maybe that would be much more interesting, right? Rather than making this like a big thing like this, just leave a second entrance to this base from the side, so you can't just hold it with one entrance like this. And just make 2 pocket expansions and remove this one, because that way you avoid a situation where a race that benefits most of this gets free expansions, right? So I think that's my immediate feedback. And also this part over here, when Terran can just push you with tanks from behind, this is also horrible. All right, let's look at the rest of the map. So middle is, I guess, non-buildable. It is actually buildable. Wow, crazy. Okay, this is crazy. So you can actually do proxy gates here, but you can't do proxy gates at the bottom. Okay, that's fine, because proxy gates here is so far that I think it can easily be holded. So it's nice for some variety, some proxy starports, factors and so, but it doesn't really make an, you know, kind of like abusive situation. You can also proxy stuff here. As on one-on-one maps, proxy is always very strong, so it's good to check what locations are available. I would probably make this unbuildable. Reason is simple. Terran is just gonna have a too easy life taking it over, and Terran can also abuse some of those high grounds, both versus Zerg and Protoss with tanks. Not high grounds, this behind the high grounds here. So this is, and also from here Terran can just shoot the base. That's even worse, to be honest, than this part. So there is something not right with that expansion, and I would fix the things around here. Very cool map though. Rest is pretty much standard. This is fine. I think this is all okay. Some funky mineral line concepts here. Everything else looks good. I think there is enough space for turrets, and so you can build it around, yeah, in nice positions. Main is nice and visible. You know, there is some high ground for harassment, but there's also some visibility here. Conceptually very interesting. Definitely some fixing around the terrain. Definitely fixing around the top bases. I really like the concept, but I think it has to be amended. It just gives too much imbalance for gameplay. All right, the last criteria is the visuals. So I think I like actually this one. I think this is really cool, how these little tiles fit here. And they make this map, you know, kind of unique. I haven't seen this before. So very neat design, very nice, you know, doodads, or how you call them. I know you have to handcraft them, I think. Space tiles that is a little bit boring in my perspective, just my personal opinion. You know, we can only do as much. But I think there's you know, quite a lot of stuff done here nicely. So pretty nice looks. I mean, that's usually with Freakling. I mean, his maps are usually very beautiful. So nothing to add here. I think the looks are just how they should be. All right. So welcome to everyone on a stream here. Hey, October Zerk. Let me just do a verdict on the first map, and I'm gonna catch up with chat. So let's go to our little Excel file here. So first map, access controlled by Freaklink. So definitely gets 4 in the. Oh, sorry, my Excel just backed. Wow, it just exploded, guys. It just completely exploded. All right, let's reopen it. My Excel file just closed itself for some reason. All right, let's hope this works now. Okay. I think we're back, right? All right. So back to Excel. So first map, definitely a complete map for their gameplay. I see a lot of issues in the current version. So I think this was version 0.8. I think it's unplayable at this point. So gameplay is gonna get 0 at this point. At this version, and sorry, you know my reviews are rough. I think it's unplayable at this point. There's too much buildable terrain in 10. There are problems with the back of expansions, and the top line of a map needs redesigning. I think it's a very cool concept. I really like it. But currently, at current version, it's not playable. I think, at least not in the current metagame perspective. I think too much abusing in very many. I can come up with 10 examples of abusing this. Design is really cool for a one-on-one map. I think the utilization of the top of the map like this, that you make it half accessible, while the rest of the map. I think I actually really like the design. I think it's a 2 on design. It's a novelty for me. So it definitely it's gonna definitely stick. Visuals, I'm gonna give it a 1, and don't get me wrong, 1 is a good score. So 0 is a bad score, 1 is a good score, 2 is tremendous score. Reason is that I think Space Tiles, it just only limits you to as much, right? It's good visuals, but it's nothing like that's gonna completely make me crack, like wow, you know, crack tears from my eyes. Yeah, so total score of 7. If you guys remember my last year review, total score of 7 is a good score. We had very few maps with high scores. And again, I know this is a 0.8, and I think that's what we see in this course currently. Very good map overall, very interesting map, but just trying to be real with the current version of what I've seen, right? So I'm not looking at the perspectives here, I'm not looking at what it could become, I'm just looking at what it is plainly. So I hope you guys understand it. How would you change the top part? Very simple. I mean, my immediate idea is to separate, yeah, so very quickly, I would remove this expansion, because now you basically have 3 expansions for free. If you can abuse the small entrances. So I would remove this expansion and I would disconnect. And I would disconnect these 2 expansions, right? So that way you kind of allow this abuse for some races. So some Protoss versus Terran, you know, you create that dynamic where you have to use dropships for harassment, and you know, some units can't get in here, but you still need to include a second entrance. So maybe move this entrance. Whoa, we have a donation already here. And sorry, I don't know, I have not turned my Streamlabs. Just 1 second, guys. I'm gonna fix it in a sec. I can't see what it is because I have not turned on my Streamlabs. Reminds of Matchpoint a little bit. Yeah, it reminds of Matchpoint a little bit. Let's turn on the donation series. Wow, SC Spider. I'm gonna read the donation so you guys can see it. Can I do it? I think I can do it. Yeah, I think I've done it now, right? Yes, thank you very much. Now I hope you can all see it. Thank you very much for $20 freaking dollars. That's an insane donation, especially with my standards. SC Spider, you're the god. I hope you like some StarCraft Maps review, because you're gonna be hearing about it for 2 hours or so. Thank you very much, sir. This is really appreciated. It's definitely gonna keep me going for a couple more hours on that stream. Really appreciate it. Cheers, mate. Yeah, okay, let me catch up with a chat very quickly here. Just think about okay. Sorry, I need to catch up with chat, or maybe I shouldn't, because it's so much. So guys, sorry for this. I'll try to be better at this, but hopefully you understand my comments here. It's not to be negative. I think the concept is really interesting, Freaklink. I like it. Frankly, I just think it has some fixing to be done. So, guys, we have 43 maps, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. No, we have 46 maps. So I can only spend as much time per map here. But I think I've covered the main points of it. It's a good map, very interesting. Needs some fixes here and there for sure to make it more gameplay, working, kind of like. Okay, so hopefully we're gonna see some maps from Spider too. Thank you very much for the donation once again. Okay, let's move on, guys. And by the way, if you're an author and you want to talk more about a map, you can jump on my Discord. Just ping me on Discord later when I have more time. I'm happy to spend some extra time discussing the details. But for sake of a stream, we're gonna move on a little bit faster here. Okay, we have another map, Anthropocene? Anthropocene? Oh my god. Wow, so already down 1 point by the name, of course, just kidding, but this is so difficult to pronounce, right? Okay, I'm not gonna be scoring now. But actually, no, this is probably an English word that I don't know, but it's the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end, made by Crystal Drag. Okay, so famous map maker, at least I recognize the name, same as I recognize Freakin's name. Jungle Tileset. Let's take Protoss here. Protoss Terran is a setup I like because I can mind control Terran in case I need to test something. Let's see, Black Sheep Wall. Show me the money. Alright, so let's do yellow colors here so we can see the difference in the different. Wow, already I can see a ton of some neutral buildings and stuff, so I expect something really, really crazy. But before we jump into it, let's start with the basics. So it's a 2-player map again. Wow, nice shape. I like that the top and the bottom edges are a little bit cut because on one-on-one maps, right, you have too much space maybe sometimes. A lot of expansions on this map. I like Freaking map because there were not that many expansions, especially if you remove maybe one of them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, how many is it? 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 expansions. 12 expansions, 6 on 6. Okay, maybe that's okay. All right, anyway, so we have a nice main, 9 minerals. Okay, oh, this is gonna require analysis, guys. So this is a real map here. Okay, so we have some minerals that we need to mine. So just first thing, just remember, guys. Oh, you probably need to slide your workers here. Can you? Sorry, can I just? What is happening? Can I go for this? No, I can't go for this one. So this is not so great for Zerg, of course, because Zerg needs to send. If Zerg needs to mine it out, and Zerg always has got fewer drones, or Zerg needs to do this, right? So you need to jump. So Protoss can easily jump like this, and you know that's no issue, right? Zerg has got a little bit harder. So it's a little bit anti-Zerg in my view, doing this kind of stuff. But it's just 24 minerals, so even rushing could be possible. Oh my god, this map, I already see 20 scenarios where bizarre things can happen here. So let's leave that for later. Let's analyze the map first. So we have the double expansion here. You can pick one of the expansions depending on which of these mineral patches you decide to mine. Just bear in mind that opponent can also start mining this, and with just 3 mining routes, it's actually pretty easy to remove it. You know, the scout takes 1, and then you just need 2 more to completely remove it. So relatively easy to access this from the main perspective. Okay, we have these 2 bases, and these 2 bases lead us to 2 separate paths that are separated by this stasis cell prison. I don't know what is this. Is this a Zerg thingy? Well, someone needs to explain this to me. Is this just a thing, or can you sunken this, or? Sorry, I should have taken Zerg maybe. Let's just restart. Seems like this map has got some Zerg features, guys. I need to see this, if these are Zerg features. Let's check it out again. Okay. No. So I'm not sure what it does. If someone knows what it does, you can kill the Chrysalis and later use for Crypt for Nidus. Okay, or for Sunken, I guess. Okay, so it is Zerg. It is for Zerg. Gotcha. So it is for Zerg, but I don't see really that this makes such a big difference in any kind of context. Or I guess we're probably gonna see more of those. All right, so this doesn't really, you know, switch me on too much from a gameplay perspective. But anyway, so we have this. Let's go back to the top side where we're. So we have those. Then we have more blockers. With those are, I guess, to avoid Terran landing command centers here, right? So you need to get with a proper drone here. So this is like an island map basically, right? If I mine this, can I go to my opponent? I go here, I can go here. Yeah, so this is a trick of locking your bases, of course. Okay, so this is a land/island map. Very tricky to evaluate without very extensive testing, or at least considerations. So the basic idea is that you take one of the paths and you expand, right? You go here or here, you expand. Then you take a decision. You can kill both geysers, and if you kill both geysers, then you're basically completely sealed off, right? If this is what I've seen on other maps, then probably that it is. You can kill one geyser, so only like small units can go through, like Zerglings and so. You can kill both geysers to basically completely lock it from any unit passing. So strategically this is very interesting, but of course killing this doesn't necessarily provide you, you know, full security, because there are still a lot of paths that your opponent can get through to start attacking you with land units. Looks like a very hard map to play, to be honest. I don't know how units behave here, but there are so many blockers that I feel like a lot of units will just be bagging horribly. Let's see if I just go with a drone here. Wow, they don't even want to go. Okay, that's nasty. Okay, if I go here, can I actually go here, or this is completely gonna ruin it, right? No, this is gonna get stuck here, right? Okay, no, yeah. And also if I want to go here, it's gonna be the same stuff, right? So very difficult to play from a player perspective. Maybe too much stuff. I mean, this is strategically super deep. You know, you can in theory try to rush killing those geysers and transition into a complete island map. I don't know if this is stacked, by the way, or this is individuals. I hope it's individuals. If this is stacked, then it's too much probably also. More Nidus possibilities. Okay, so if this turns into an island map, right, then this becomes a little bit more relevant, I guess. That's the point, right? The point is that Zerg can in theory go like freebase and lock the map relatively quickly with Zerglings. Like you make 6 Zerglings as Zerg, and then you try to lock it very quickly. But still, bloody hell, there are so many scenarios that could happen here. Also the Zerg beacons. I'm not sure why the Zerg beacons, by the way, because this is of course favoring Zerg long term, that Zerg can use some of those tactical locations for Niduses and so. But in reality, this is not a bad map for Zerg, because it's not an island map. I mean, usually you would do it on an island map, but there are like 4 sets of geysers you have to kill to make this an island map. If you're playing TVZ or PVZ, you don't have map control versus Zerg. So Zerg decides, right? It's Zerg that decides in early game if they want to close it or leave it open. And Terran, if they decide to close it later, then it's Zerg favored. And if it's Protoss, it's also going to be Zerg favored, because Zerg can just, you know, easily take those expansions. So I think it's too much for Zerg, to be honest, because it's not really an island map. It's too much of those assimilators and so. How do we evaluate this? We have this setups of 5 bases, basically, guys. If you look at it now I see it much better, right? So we have the setup of 5 bases, and then you have 4 paths, 4 gas paths for each of those 5 bases, right? In theory, you can kill all the geysers in 4 locations to seal your 5 bases and go carrier versus Terran, or, you know, go some other bizarre strategies. And there's middle that is, you know, open, but and can be, you know, fully taken over, like, you know, with 2 bases here with 10 minerals and 10,000 gas. But it's a big open middle, so unless you're winning anyway, then I don't think you can you know, easily take it. Okay, assuming you kill those geysers, I guess you can. And then you have those corner bases also. Wow, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around. I mean, I understand it. I could now open this map and play a match on it, but there are just so many scenarios could play. Let's do a quick matchup process here. So, oh wait, what? Oh, this minded. Okay, I thought they disappeared, but I think my it must have been that my AI mind this, or did it disappear? Guys, what happened here? Oh, this must have been mined by AI, right? I'm lost here. Okay, anyway, I believe it's just they just mine it out for some reason. They figured out that they need to mine it out to lift the base, which is the same for me that AI figured it out. Okay, so let's take 3 examples: ZVP, TVP, and PVZ. So in PVZ, you just go standard here. You can't go 1 base really, so you have to expand. You take 1 of the bases, and you hope that Zerg is not gonna muscling rush you with some kind of a 9-pull free drone push, which is possible, and I don't think Protoss can really stop it, right? So this is a little bit too abusive, too few minerals in my view, that, you know, Zerg with 3 drones and 9-pull can just mine it and kill your base before you even build any kind of defense. It's pretty hard. This is gonna be very quickly mined out. But in theory, you could hold maybe, and then you get this situation where mid-game Zerg stays these 2 bases probably, and they just hold it because it's a cross position, super long rush distance, so it's a macro game. And what next? So PVZ, Protoss probably has to go macro late game. I don't think you can attack. These are narrow paths, very difficult. Yeah, any matchup basically. Yeah, any matchup, it's almost impossible to attack this position, guys. Now I look at it, right? I look at it now, and this is just such a defensive macro map. So reality is that most of the matchups, how they're gonna play, like PvT, Protoss is gonna make carriers, and it's gonna be hell for Terran. Carriers on this map are just gonna be insanely strong, overpowered as hell, because there's no way Terran stops Protoss from killing those Extractor, and it's a 5-base Protoss with carriers. So this is completely broken PvT in my view, and also Protoss can abuse this different halls for aggression. So this is not good for PvT for sure. For PvZ, I think it's the same thing. I think Protoss just, I don't know. The PvZ could actually be almost balanced, but I think Protoss just takes dominance in air, and then they decide if they want to turn into an island map, and they just go Course River. So I think Protoss is super overpowered in this situation. ZVT, I think again, Zerg is just gonna be stronger, although these paths are okay for bio. So probably ZVT is gonna be the most balanced matchup out of all the matchups. But still, it's hard to say because of how many things are, how many things can be abused in this kind of a setup, and also this Nidus. All right, so on the balance, I have my score. We're gonna discuss this on the Excel table. On gameplay, I also have my score. We're gonna discuss it later. Visuals, it's an okay map. Nothing super fancy, just regular things that you have kind of like in your editor. You have to remember also just, this kind of dodots, they're not looking pretty, right? They look quite ugly in my perspective. And also when you kill them, you have those Vespene geysers everywhere. So I don't like the looks too much. It's plain, it's simple, not too nice. Super extremely adventurous though, in the sense of what is happening on this map. All right, so before we jump into the scores, let's check it out. What do we have? Are the gas mineable once you kill the assimilators? Probably not. No, definitely not. It's always that you can't rebuild it because if you rebuild the gas, then you reopen the path. I must have minded. Yeah, probably yes. All right, let's go to the Excel here. So a map with a name I can't pronounce. Is the map complete? It surely is. Gameplay currently gets a 0 for me. Sorry to say, but matches like PvT or PvZ are just not gonna make it. There's gonna be a lot of bugging units everywhere, annoying the hell out of players, and there are no real convenient ways of playing the map. Like if you think, for example, about the School Desert map, you remember the School Desert map, right? Whatever the name was. There were some nice ways how the geometry of the map worked in a way where you could go with your worker on the other side of the map, and then only at those specific gas locations you had to click on the mineral. But units reacted properly even though there were blockers. On this kind of a map, half of the map is so locked that everything is just gonna bug all the time, and the later the game goes, the more annoying it's gonna be. So I don't like the gameplay of this map at all, and it's not because I don't like different blockers. I just think the design of it is not so good. The design itself, okay, yeah, so on design specifically, this is gonna get a 1 because I like the approach. I like that it's a novelty. There are some cool ideas there, but I just think it's not working currently. So I give 1 point here because I think it's a cool approach, but ultimately, I don't think it serves the purpose, right? I don't think it serves the purpose really. Too much imbalance and too much annoyment there. And visuals, on that side, I would, I'm thinking between 0 and 1 here. And again, don't get me wrong, 0 is not complete crap, but it's just super basic. I mean, there's nothing really. All those blockers, all those those chrysalids and beacons, they look ugly as hell, both for an observer and as a player. So I'm gonna give it a 0, not because I think the map is ugly, but I think it has got nothing nice in it, right? It's a complete map, it has got the doodads and so, but it just doesn't look appealing at all. So by the way, just so I recap on the score system now when we have a couple more viewers. If I want to put 2 on gameplay, design, or visuals, for me 2 means this is an absolutely stunning, excellent score, right? Meaning that a map of design 2 would be mind-blowing, like wow, why no one ever thought about it. Gameplay 2 means wow, all races can play equally here and can have some nice, nice opportunities. Visuals of 2 would be like, wow, I have never seen such beautiful maps, right? This is the point. So we end up with a total score of 5 just because this map needs so much work going onwards. Very cool map though. So yeah, fun map, but I wouldn't like to play it, right? So this is this kind of fun that I'm not signing up to, at least not right here, right now. Gold Rush was the map, exactly, and a lot of those maps. So if you do maps with blockers, you need to make sure that the basic movement patterns are secured there. Okay. So if I click on the other side of the map or the bottom of the map and there are some blockers in between, my unit should not just immediately back, but it should get to a point where I have to maybe click again to get it through. But not like, you know, that it completely goes a weird path and then it gets stuck on the other side of the map, which happens on this kind of maps. Very cool. Baruch. Okay, there's, I think that's French, right? I never read or learned French, so I'm gonna try and you can laugh. Is this French? C'est dit seulement des espèces qui sont d'une rondeur forte imparfaite. Alright, you can laugh later. Baruch. I don't have an author here. Let's check it out on Team Liquid. So Baruch, author is Agmun from Korea. Shout out to Mr. Agmun from Korea. It's version 0.9. Let's see how it is. Sorry, am I back on the right screen? Yeah, I'm back on the right screen. Good. Money. Okay. So a rather smaller map. That's nice. I mean, for one-on-one maps, you know, you definitely don't need to go 128 or 128 or bigger. Let's see what it is. So a nice big main here, very standard main. You can see some. I'm not sure why is this here. I mean, what's the point of this? Because this is not a wall for Terran at all. So I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to do here. Oh, there are some blockers also here. Bloody hell, what is this? This is so weird. I don't think this helps any kind of walls or anything. Terran cannot wall like this, so I'm not sure what's the purpose, but it doesn't work if this was supposed to be for walling. Anyway, we go up here. Nice, main is okay size, that's fine. We have high ground, easily, well, not easily defendable, but yeah, very, very normal, like fighting spirit wise, kind of like. How many minerals? Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. 9 plus 8, okay, so a little bit more 2-based approach here. 9 plus 8 is more minerals than 9 plus 7, obviously. Quite big. Wow, a very big entrance. 2 big entrance. For both for Terran and for Zerg and for Protoss, right? So what you have to think about here is that it doesn't matter which race you are, you need to be able to somehow close your natural base. Meaning, you know, like with Protoss, you would do like a wall like this, and that gives you quite a bit of, well, yeah, it's manageable, but it's quite big. For Terran, you can do it. So it's a very big natural base, 2 big natural base, in my view. Zerg also wants to make a hatchery here, and they want to make a second hatchery here and a Hydro Den here. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. I don't know. Is that bad? Here. Yeah, this is even bigger, right? So you can actually see this is not even symmetrical. So there are some issues already here. Like in here, I think Zerg can make a hatchery and Hydro Den and live with it. Here it's more difficult, and this is way too big. Jesus Christ, it's so huge. That's what she said. So some redesign around this, I think, is needed here. Anyway, what do we have here? We go out in this base. Oh, what is this thing? So there is a nice Protoss temple here. You can't go through. You have to mine 25 minerals. That is obviously 4 rounds of mining, not 3 rounds, as we would have with 24. So intentional 1 mineral left here, so it's more annoying to a player. And we have this high ground over here. That is, of course, gonna make it a little bit hard for some scenarios where... oh, you can also turret the high ground. Wow, okay. You can turret the high ground, Barker the high ground. So very strong for many matchups. This kind of high ground is quite difficult to manage. If opponent gets here, it's almost locking you out completely. Okay, anyway, so this is 2 base. Then we have the 3rd base where you have to mine minerals, which is obviously not accessible. You can't really mine this in the beginning of the game for Zerg, for example. So your 3rd base have to be in the upper part here, and this is also really exposed. So you have a big ramp here, an entrance here, so difficult base to hold. Making this already a pretty harsh 2-base map in my perspective. Also, this map is really hard to take because you get this high ground on top of it. So all the bases seems to be ridiculously hard to play. You have this mineral only, but it's in the center of the map with nothing surrounding it, and you also have this base. Okay, so my immediate thought here is that these bases are way too exposed and way too difficult for any matchup to play. In theory, the assumption around it could be that you want to have an active 2-base harassment game, and that's true. But you have to remember that Zerg needs a third base in ZVP and ZVT. Zerg doesn't get a third base in ZVT here, and ZVP is going to be a hard third base. Protoss, when they get it, they're going to be stuck on 2-base very long, until they get this base, I guess, but still lurkers and stuff. Bloody hell, really hard to hold. Okay, this is probably a third base for most of the races. Terran, probably want to go here. Yeah, Terran wants to take this versus Protoss. So, wow. Okay, a little bit tough. How about the playout? So, if you actually want to go, this is a cross map, by the way. So, 12 Nexus is kind of far. Fast expansions for sure. This looks like a lengthy distance. Middle is super open and buildable. So, you can do all nasty proxies. But also attacking here it's going to be quite hard in some matchups. Well, attacking, yeah. What I meant to say is that there is so much maneuvering space. This map, guys. Some nice high grounds for harassment also here and here. This is, I think, quite okay. But again, thinking that this map, this base is already so open, you don't need to drop tanks here. You can just come and kill this base. Sorry to say, but this is just such a hard base to hold. Adding additional layers of harassment to it. Not sure if this is really required. There's not much more to say. I mean, this temple, I mean, I'm thinking, why is this temple even here, guys? Like, why is this temple even here? It's not like this base is necessarily much easier to take than this base, to be quite honest. It's I think, similarly difficult for most of the time. So, this temple makes it annoying and difficult, but I don't think it really helps any of the players or makes the map more exciting. If this temple, for some reason, for example, sealed off the entrance to your third base temporarily, at least, maybe this should be here. All right, this would be cool. Like, think that this temple is here and there is a big ramp. Zergs make it a little bit easier to hold. Third base maybe is more possible, but right now, in a situation like this temple is just annoying. It doesn't really add any kind of gameplay because you can just mine this mineral and that's it, right? So not sure about that. Alright, so I think it's a simple design. There is nothing overly exciting about this map. There are some ideas here that I don't agree with really from a perspective of a player. It's not gonna play well in most of the matchups. There are many issues for different matchups here. I mean, I'm not saying you can't play it, but I think it's not gonna be fun, right? You limit the amount of strategies rapidly by making many difficult bases and a huge open center that is, strategically just like, who makes a bigger army, kind of like conceptual, right? So TVP is gonna be a hell on such a big map. PVZ is gonna be hard because third base is hard, and also this is so open, for like flanks, and so the high ground in front of a natural base. This is like a 2-base all-in map in my view, right? Like a 2-base, get the high ground in front of their base and win, right? Terran wants to get here with tanks. Just put a couple of tanks here and mine this and you win. All the gateway production has to be here anyway. PVZ is kind of similar. You just want to get to this high ground. If you get your army in PVZ over here, you threaten this base, you threaten this base, you threaten this base, right? If Protoss puts his army here, Zerg can't defend. They just need to have a bigger army. That's why making a 2-base timing is just so overwhelming. Because everything, if you put your army as Terran or Protoss or Zerg here, you just threaten everything on the map. So this is not so good. Alright, on the visuals, again, super basic. I mean, it's a complete map. It has got nice features. But I just don't, it doesn't switch me on, right? It's kind of like previous map. It's fine. But I don't think it does anything too much. And also this big plain center and these neutral buildings are a bit of a turn-off for me. Alright, so time for the verdict. Oh, sorry, what you're saying there? Let me see. Type zoom to zoom out further if it helps. Okay, I will check it out. Let's check the chat first. So where we have BN, yeah, okay. Something about imperfect pause. Yeah, HO, yeah. Base just under the high ground. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you found the source of the quote. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, no context. Gotcha. All right, let's go to the verdict, guys. Let's go to the verdict. So, Barrock, map is complete, so it gets 4. Gameplay gains 0 in my view. So it's just 2-base map with super abusive strategic positions for every matchup. Yeah, I have to be consistent. Visuals get 0, not because it's wrong. It's the same comment as last time. It's nice, but there's nothing in it. So, you know, if we would do, like, maybe we should do differently. Maybe we should do it 0 to 100, right? If this was 0 to 100 and this could be 0 to 20, I would give it 5 points, okay? You get a point, right? So because I can't give it 5 points, I have to give it 0, 1, or 2. I give it 0 because it's, okay, 5 would be rounding up in theory, but you get my point, right? So because we do it 0 to 10, I have to be a little bit sharp on giving scores like 1. Because for me, 1 means, wow, okay, this looks really good. 2 means, wow, this is fantastic, right? 0 means, if it's completely plain or there's just, you know, very basic doodads, it's still a 0 for me. So don't take it wrong. It's just you know, it's just what it is. Design, I give it 0. Sorry to say, but this map just, I don't know, guys. It's not gonna cut it for me. It's not gonna cut it for me. And if you remember last year's stream, should we do 0.5s? Yeah, we should do 0.5s, sure. 0.5 is a good idea, and we're gonna do 0.5 here also. You're right, 0.5. Why am I so stupid? I mean, I've been laying in my bed for a whole day, so I'm a little bit slow. But of course, 0.5 is definitely what we should be giving to this map. So 0.5 is correct. Can maps get negative numbers for being very bad? No. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just reading that. So this is gonna be the score here. I'm not writing comments like last year, but hopefully people who has made these maps can maybe rewatch the stream later. All right, let's not spend too much time on it. We have so many more maps to go through. Again, I hope that at least, you know, this gets something, gives something to all the map makers. Okay. Biosphere, Marsar Wildlife Preserve. Please do not feed the animals. Okay, so we're gonna have another jungle map with some wild nature there. Version 084 beta created by Freaking, Mr. Freaking again. Shoutouts to Superman, and Jungle Terrain. Okay, so Jungle Terrain I recognize. I have not seen Superman so much yet, but maybe I just don't remember. So we have another map by Freaking. Let's see what Mr. Freaking brings to the table this time. So an interesting size, 128 on 120. Let's check it out. Nice top of the Nexus Pro positioning already. That's pretty cool. Oh, 1504 this time. So we're not doing 1496 anymore. We're doing 1504 now for that extra 8 minerals or 4 minerals depending what you compare to. Okay, a bunch of living creatures in the middle. Oh my god, we're gonna check it out later. So first things first. This is, wait a second. Is this a 3-player map or no? This is a 2-player map, right? This is a 2-player map, but just the symmetry is different. Okay, this is not necessarily bad. We're gonna check it out. It's like wow, this is interesting. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 minerals here. Very standard 9 minerals. Nicely sized main again. A bit open main, to be honest, right? So this is something to consider, of course. Like this reminds me of maps like Katrina and this kind of stuff, right? There's also Jungle where you get a lot of those open air surface around your base. This is definitely gonna open up a lot of aggressive opportunities for Mutas, for Reavers, possibly also for drop play, but not so much. Primarily Mutas and Reavers are a force with this kind of open maps. It's a little bit harder to defend those, but fine. And recalls, of course, late game. Okay, anyway, we have this. By the way, a little bit annoying main setup for example, for Terran. Where do you build your factories? Where do you build your depots? It's a little bit hard to do it. Also in here is the same stuff. You build, okay. Yeah, so, okay. Wow, this map is something else. I really need to focus on it. Okay, let's move on here. We go to our natural base where we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 7.5, you could say, minerals. So we get some mid-game mineral boosting, or early game, mid-game mineral boosting, and that's going to be depleted to go down to 7. So basically, if we're looking for timings, it's already fast timings. I'm not sure about that. Do that here. That doesn't really fit well here. And we have some airspace above that base here, and also, but minerals are nicely pushed away. So I think this is a nice combination, by the way. If you make like an airspace like this with high ground that is invisible, it's nice to push minerals a little bit. But also just make sure, remember that because this is high ground, flying units can go behind the minerals and also make this part of the map, this part of the main threatened. So maybe it's a little bit too open. Maybe it's a little bit too hard. I think I'm not saying it's wrong because it's a matter of, you know, a map and a strategy, but it's definitely very hard to hold for the different kind of air aggression. Main is very open, and also there is a path from the natural into the main from behind. So quite opportunistic, you could say, for harassment here. Anyway, so we move out from here. This is also a little bit weird, to be honest. I'm not sure how this is supposed to work. This will require some studying from Protoss players for sure. How to exactly fit this, I'm not sure. Is this like how are you supposed, like, oh, like this, I guess, right? Something like this, right? Something like that, maybe. Yeah, this is a bit spooky, to be honest. Yeah, some considerations. What about Terrans? Barak, supply. Yeah, Terrans may have it a little bit easier here. Zerg? Yeah, Zerg is probably okay. For Zerg, it's fine. Yeah, Zerg can make it pretty nice. Zerg is definitely okay. I think Protoss can struggle here a little bit. I'm not sure how the walling here is. I mean, maybe there's a design for this already, but maybe some issues with the natural shape. Just, you know, just to make sure that Protoss can wall against Zerg at least, right? Protoss needs to be so just for all the map makers. If Protoss is not able to really wall off their entrance versus Zerg, then the map is not gonna be good, because Zerg is just too strong early game versus Protoss. They go mass link and you can't really fix your wall. It's just so horrible. It's super tough. Okay, anyway, move over here. So it's 2 bases. There is a 3rd base. There's only a mineral only base. Wow, what is happening here? So there's no 3rd base on this map. Wow, okay, very interesting. So let's see. So we have 2 bases here. We go out here. There is unbuildable terrain, I guess, everywhere here. Yeah, pretty much. Well, turrets can be built here, so Terran can abuse that position very strongly, but maybe it's okay. It's just in front of a natural, so it's, well, actually you can build a lot. Okay. Okay, then we have this big circle center, so you can walk around the center with some vision blockers, some high ground. This is this high ground, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the top of the map is vision blockers, and the bottom of the map is high grounds. For whichever one prefers to move, you can move either via vision blockers or by high grounds, or you can just go straight into the middle. What is this? Is this like an arc? Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, I like it. I mean, I must say I like it. These are like sprites, right? There's a little bit of a piece missing here. That's a shame. If this could have been done just, you know, that last couple of pixels, this would have really looked like a real kind of like arc on top of it. That's pretty cool. That's a nice dot, right? This is what gets you more score in the visual stream for sure. Is there another one here? Yeah. So it's a shame it's a little bit missing, but I guess that's how it is, right? You probably can't fix it better than that. So anyway, okay. So we have a middle here, and in the middle we have more bases here with gas. 2 bases in gas here, in fact, and this is just separated by this a little bit high ground island with a bunch of animals on it. So I guess this is what is referred to in the description of the map. So I'll just go to this, so they leave me alone. Okay, and then what we have. So basically, 3 bases bottom and 3 bases top. So we have a vision blocker path and 3 bases, all gas bases, vision high grounds bottom, 3 bases too, and this mineral only naturals. All right, so we are under attack. Looking at these paths, like there's a small path here, entrance here. So this is like a pocket base. Okay, so in theory that could be your third base is Zerg, I guess. Just this is a little bit. Oh, this is tricky, guys. This is so tricky. Yeah, I get it. Okay, this is the same. No, these are just pocket bases. Okay, so this is like Eclipse. So this is like I can smell some Eclipse ideas here, where you have, you know, like here you have the bases that are like connected to your mineral onlys in theory, while here at the top you have the, you know, the pocket expansions with just one entrance, and there is this bigger expansion, bigger ramp with pushed back like this, and you have a base here. Okay, so first of all, first things first, purely from a balance perspective, this is definitely a 2-base map. Okay, this is basically a 2-base map in the sense that all the bases are again very hard to hold. As a Zerg, I mean, think about it. If you think ZVP, Zerg needs to have a third base, right? Oh my god, this is so annoying with that sound. Alright, let's go here. Zerg needs to have 3 bases. So Zerg has got 2 choices. Zerg either takes a close base, and usually if Zerg gets a close base, they take a close base because it's easier to defend in the early game, and also it gives maybe some, you know, good mineral mining. There's no third base like this on this map, right? You can either take this mineral only here, which is a poor base and it's very hard to hold, or this third base, which is even harder to hold. So there's no close third base for Zerg. You can take a far away base for Zerg also, but the purpose on like what happens in metagame or just in StarCraft is that Zerg can take a faraway base, but that has to come with late game advantage. So what I mean is that if you take a faraway base as Zerg, your whole game plan is around, like think 4-player maps, it's around taking your third base that will later on allow you to take your fourth base, right? These are the 2 main ideas with expanding a Zerg. On this map, there's no safe third base, and there's no fourth base that's gonna allow you to take fourth base. So there is problem here for Zerg, both in ZVP and ZVT realistically, where Zerg can't really expand and get any good bases. Similarly, I think for Protoss, well, Protoss can at least maybe take this base in PvZ, but anyway, I think Protoss is gonna go, just gonna go 2 base. Similar to TVP, Terran doesn't have a third base here. I mean, this is the only third base here that Terran has. It's just a mineral only, everything else is too far. So my perspective here is that there needs to be something done here about some of the bases. And maybe it's too many bases in that regard. So my point is that we have 3 bases over here, but they are so hard and so far for anyone to hold them that people will just not expand here. Similarly to here, we need a third base that is accessible somehow, some way, maybe with more minerals. Or we need a situation where we have, you know, you have to be like this, 2 + 1, and then a fourth one is hard, or you go 2 + 2. So the first 2 bases are easy, and the other 2 bases are difficult, but they come in a package, right? You get my point, right? Like if you think in Eclipse, for example, if you decide to take your left base, let's say your bottom left on Eclipse, you take your third base, then it's very easy to take your fourth base, right? While third base is not so easy to take because everything's unbuildable. So some situation, depending on the matchup. Like this doesn't happen here, so there's a problem. There's a problem with expansions here for sure. Also, middle expansions. The reality is that there is no way that both races take these bases. There's just no way. It's either gonna be both races taking this, or no one is gonna. It's gonna be one player taking both and just winning anyway, or no one taking it. So similarly to this, maybe you just don't need two bases here. Maybe we just need one base in the middle. And there needs to be some kind of a mechanism of making the third base more accessible for everyone, for TVP, for ZVT, for ZVP, and some kind of a conceptual change where you either take two bases and then you get two extra bases, or you take easy three bases and then you get like pocket expansions, fourth bases, but yeah, something like that. The map also feels a little bit too big for a one-on-one map. Not in the sense of too big a size maybe, it is a big size, it's a 4-player map size, but just the distance of getting anywhere to expand and so is just, you know, the cost of getting here with your probes is not worth the risk of losing that base or getting it harassed, right? If I take this base ever, it's gonna take me a million years to defend it, right? If you harass with vultures or whatever. Yeah, okay. The looks of it, very nice. It's not a 2 in my view, but it's definitely a 1. It looks very nice. I like this. It's a shame it doesn't make it perfect. But a lot of nice donuts. There are still some errors here and there. It's StarCraft, obviously, right? So you can't fix everything. But some of the errors were really nice, as expected by Freaklink. Yeah. Wow. Terran AI is going crazy here, guys. All right, I have my verdict here. So let me check chat quickly. Wow, Siki with a ride of 102 beautiful, intelligent people. Thank you, Siki, for your host, guys. For those that have just joined, I'm not playing StarCraft today. I'm rambling about different maps in the New World Maps contest. So I think we've just went for 3 maps. It's 4th map right now. So we're trying to discuss different ideas and yeah, what is working and what is maybe not working. Makes me wonder what to make a jungle map at 2 can't do much more than on this map. Makes me wonder what would make a jungle map at 2. Oh, you mean from the looks? Well, I remember one map from last season. What was it called? You know, Terraform or something. That was a jungle map and it had so much spice in it, right? And again, maybe it's just me. It's very good looking. That map was very good looking, Freaklink, don't get me wrong. But it's also, I think, the composition. It's not just specific data, it's just the overall composition, maybe, right? I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but or was it desert? Okay, that was desert. You're right, yeah. But it had jungle dudas, right? I don't know. I think it's just the overall feel of it, maybe. I don't know. Not sure. Anyway, let's go to the scoreboard high. So map is definitely complete. So 4 points there for sure. I'm sorry, guys. 2-player maps are so hard to make them right. It's just so hard to make a 2-player map. It's much easier to make a good map from a gameplay perspective that is a 4-player map because it automatically solves a lot of challenges on expansions and things like it. So I'm sorry, but I think it should get a half. It should get a half for sure. It should get a half this. It had some cool concepts, but it was definitely missing. Some maybe not. No, it gets a 0. Sorry, it's not getting a 0 because it's. I know you're gonna look at me. This idiot. He's so fucking stupid, right? He's just scoring everyone 0 because he doesn't care. It's not a point. The point is that these maps, all 4 maps that we've seen so far, it's so easy to abuse them from a gaming perspective in specific matchups, right? This is my point. Like this map, I will never want to expand beyond my 2 bases if I'm Protoss or Terran, because taking any base above my 2 bases is just a strategic mistake. I can harass my opponent to death. If they take a 3rd base, I can harass them in their main, in their natural. I can harass them in their 3rd base. As long as I make a big timing, I make my 150 supply of Terran or Protoss, I'm good. I'm winning. Versus Zerg, for example, right? That's the point, right? Good gameplay is a map that allows to be defensive, that allows to be aggressive. It allows harassment, but it also allows macro. It allows, you know, different things. And I think all 4 maps that so far, they very quickly push you into a very specific direction of playing the map. You can't go macro on the map like this. You just can't go macro, guys. If you go macro, you're gonna get harassed and you're gonna get smacked by timing. That's the point, right? Design, it needs to get redesigned. Okay, it needs to get redesigned in a sense of the free expansions in the top and the free in the bottom. They don't really make so much of a difference. The paths, the little paths, to the bases at the bottom, where you have like, and the pocket expansions on top. It doesn't really matter, right? It's cool additions, but functionally, I don't think they really add up so much. It's a tough call, guys. It's a tough call. I'm gonna give it a half, and visuals is definitely a 1 here. So that's gonna be my final call on this map. Sheetboard, yeah, it's sheetboard. Sorry, yeah, sheetboard. should be called a sheetboard though, right? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just try to be, you know, I just try to be same ridiculous and same aggressive towards everyone. That's the point here, right? The point is that not to sugarcoat it too much and give everyone 9s. The point is to really find a map that we believe is really good from all the aspects. And if I give everyone an 8 and a 9, then you know, if one gets 10, it doesn't really see that it's a better map. But if we give everyone 4s and 5s and 6, then if someone gets an 8, then it's really going to stand out. And hopefully that's going to be the best map, right? That's the whole point. I need to wipe my nose, guys. So be right back. 30 seconds, I'm back with you. I have to. Come on, guys, come on. It's not. The maps are fun, right? All the maps are fun, but the bar. I think what I try to set with the score of 10, I try to set a bar of, like, you know, ASL level map, right? Like the map that you can put in any tournament and people will go like, it's a cool map. Let's play this map for next couple of miles easily, right? That's the bar for me. So if I score these maps high just because, you know, I think they look nice on the minimap, then this misses the point, right? All right, we're gonna move on now. So we have Blackshot. Okay, so destroy all enemy buildings. It's an untitled scenario, so we're gonna check it out, how this looks like. I have no auto here. Let's see it. We have Blackshot. So author is DLL 7700 from Korea. Shout out to Mr. DLL 7700. Sounds like a file name for some kind of, you know, program. Version 3.0, meaning this map has been around for a while. It's a version 3.0, meaning there's been at least 2 versions before it, 1.0 and 2.0, I assume. Let's go Protoss here again and let's check it out. Oh, was it called 4.0 actually? Was it called 4.0? I think it was called 4.0 on the an actual map title. Whatever. Okay. All right, so cool. So another 2-player map, as all other maps here. So nice spacious main, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 minerals, very standard here. Everything is okay. This is nice. This is all good. I mean, there is no issue here. We move on to that little eggy world here. Is that? Sorry, is that a thing? Can you go from the top also? No, you can only go from the bottom. Okay, so there's a little small area you can block with 2 units, 2 zealots or so. No way of passing through, of course, unless it's a probe. So there's a big ramp that is small, and then it can be big for like TVP. For TVP especially, this is very relevant for TVP, guys, if you wonder, right? Especially for TVP, and this is good for Terran, basically. That's my point. This is good for Terran, specifically for Terran, which is a nice addition because Terrans really get annoyed by small ramps. So you get this small ramp first, and then you make it a big ramp, so Terran units can easily, you know, move around for recalls and stuff. So this is good for Terran, and I think it's a good addition to make. Then we have 8 minerals here, so again 9 plus 8, so a little bit more money for a player here to go 2 base rather than expanding very quickly. If you do 9 plus 7 third base, it's more important. If you do 9 plus 8, then you can go 2 base for a bit longer. Okay, then we have this a little bit. Okay, this is probably okay. Probably okay here on the choke. Well, very different looks, very different. Oh, this is not a natural. What the hell? Yeah, this is. Oh, this looks a little bit wider actually. I'm not sure, but maybe this is like 1, 2 gateways wide. 1. Okay, maybe not. Maybe this is almost. This just looks a little bit wider, but probably it's okay. Anyhow, so we move out from here, and again we have a third base here, a nice pocket base. So I think this is good. This is from a gameplay perspective. This is 8 minerals. This is not so far. This is very standard. That's what I mean, right? This is nothing. This is not a novelty, but this is a nice third base. This is a nice third base for Terran. Pretty easy base for Terran. Just because you make this buildable, this makes it an easy build for Terran. If you think about Eclipse for a second, Eclipse was the first, not the first map probably, but it was really a first map competitively that first competitive map that it in theory gave you an easy third base, but specifically for Terran, Eclipse third base is insanely difficult. And it's insanely difficult for a simple reason. They made this unbuildable. And if you make this unbuildable for Terran and they can't build turrets here, it's so hard to take this base. And that's why in Eclipse for the first couple months, the metagame was just to crush Terran to take a third base. Of course, ultimately Terrans learned to play their, optimally to have enough units to hold whatever product is pushing. But just the small fact that this is buildable makes this an easy base for Terran. If this was unbuildable, this immediately makes it hard for Terran. So just a small remark for all the map makers out there. And this is fine. This is also fine for Zerg and for Protoss. So this is pretty much a free base setup here for any race. Relatively easy free base setup for any race. Then we have an option for our fourth base, which started the corner base. A little bit harder than this base. Guess why? Reason is simple. This is a small base, so you can put your Nexus here, and you can put cannons here, or you can put Sunkens here, and you hold the ramp easily. If you make your base over here, and this is your hatchery, your creep is only gonna get as far. You can't Sunken the ramp, you can't cannon your Nexus and the ramp with same units, right? So the bigger you make this pocket expansion, the harder it is to defend. We've seen it also on a previous map, the one that Freaking made, when the corner bases were very big. And we've seen it also on Wavelet, I remember when I gave that feedback. If you make these bases like those pocket expansions very big, it's much harder to take them. You can also drop your tanks here or any other units, and you can't cover this with defense. So just keep that in mind. Making the bases bigger makes them much harder to defend. Making the base smaller like this makes bases much easier to hold. Anyway, so we have this fourth base, and we have the fourth base where you can go around here with a double bridge, and you can go in here in Fury. With Terran, you can put a tank here and hold it, but reality is that you probably can't use it at all for holding this base. So there is some kind of a connection. Maybe you can, maybe you can drop, with shuttle a probe and so. So there are some cool plays with it, I guess. I don't know how much it will come into play though. There are some cool plays. I like this kind of concepts where you allow players to do something extra. Like Zerg can make an overall drop and take this base versus Terran ultimately or so. So there are some cool things you can use this. I think it's a nice idea to have a base like this, but it's still very hard to defend because it's so far from your base, but it can provide some tricks. And it's also a relatively easy base to hold. It's not a high ground base, but this is not such a wide choke. If you just put a couple units here, you can probably hold it. So nice base layout on both sides, I would say. There's also a 6th base here. So that base is very far for everyone. It's almost undefendable. This is only a late game base. That's what I mean, right? And it's also only a mineral only. I'm not sure why this base is a mineral only. If it's such a late game base, because in theory, base number 6 is only for super late game. You need 5 bases as all races. I mean, Zerg wants 5 bases to be ultra strong versus Terran and Protoss and other races. So 5 bases is usually the ultimate setup. 6 base is just a continuation of the game, right? But 5 bases and 5 gas is like what you want to get as ZVT, ZVP. As Protoss, you want to get 5 base versus Terran. 5 base is that magic number usually. And anything above 5 is basically you're extending the gameplay in case 5 bases run out. So 6 base like this. So I'm not sure why this is no gas. I may be adding a gas here. It's just okay. But okay, it's a choice. It's a map choice. I'm not gonna comment so much on it. What you have to, of course, well, actually, I'm thinking here now. Yeah, probably making this mineral only favors Zerg a little bit more over Protoss in late game, because if you give more gas bases, then Protoss just becomes stronger and stronger because their late game army doesn't require minerals, but they require primarily gas. So this is probably good for ZVP balance and like ultimate late game when Protoss goes Million Archons. It doesn't really matter in PvT or TVZ. Or TVZ it matters in the sense Zerg would like to have a 6 gas, so it weakens Zerg in TVZ, it weakens Protoss in PvZ. It does something, but I can't really judge. Small ramps like this, I like it, because I think this is in theory the bottom player base, so making the small ramp here makes it slightly easier to defend, but I don't think it matters because this is such late in the game that this is gonna come into play. No, basically, this and this base is absolutely the last base to expand. Alright. let's look at the rest of the map. So expansions overall, I like them. I like the expansion layout. Again, it's not a novelty; it's a standard expansion layout. So so it's not like something very cool, very new, but it's fine. What else? So then we have this big area here. Everything is buildable. That is a little bit scary. Just bear in mind that Terran really abuses buildable terrain, right? The more buildable terrain you make, it's better for Terran. So this map already is looking pretty good for Terran. It has got nice features for Terran. It has got relatively easy free base setup. Everything is buildable. Pushing with Terran is going to be pretty strong. I would consider adding more unbuildable terrain for sure, because Terran pushes with turrets are really strong. Yeah. The thing that is good though is that there are a lot of paths. So as soon as you leave this, you can actually go left, bottom, and right. You have like 3 main, entrances here, so you can run around pretty easily. Big center with some high ground. Some high ground is good because it's a good tactical. It's good for just maneuvering your army, right, and so on. So it's interesting. Also avoids like hardcore contained situations, which again could be fun. Like for example, like Aztec, for example, right? Aztec is a map that if you land in the middle, you can contain the whole map. And you could say, it's bad if a map has got like, a possibility of containing the whole map. But actually, I think on Aztec it's fine because it's so difficult to make that contain that it just creates interesting gameplay. Which player can actually abuse it better, but it's not easy to get. So in this sense, I think this map is very open. It's going to allow a lot of maneuvering, which is good for Protoss versus Terran, for example. While Terran gets some easy bases. So it's nice dynamics. You get it, right? There's a little bit for everyone here. That's my point. A small concern I could have is 4th base for Zerg, but I think Zerg can take this base and this base. I think Zerg can. Zerg is okay because this is ramped. Zerg can take this as a 4th base, no issue. So expansions are good. The design overall is very standard, but it's good. It's a good playable design, I think. The map is rather big for a 1-on-1 map, but it doesn't have many expos, right? When you think about it, it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 12 expansions. 12 expansions is perfect for a 1-on-1 map. You can even have less, I think, but 12 is definitely a good number here. Yeah, it's fine. The visuals, the map is extremely plain. It has got nothing going for it really. It's just a super plain Spale style setup with very standard ramps, and so I could say that the player that's made the map is definitely more concerned about the balance and the whole gameplay of the map than actually its looks. So nothing really, nothing going for this map for the looks. Yep. So I think that's it's a good standard map, easy readable, correct. No real choke points to defend though. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you need to have choke points to defend, right? Again, because yeah, no, I think it's okay. I don't mind. I think it's fine. Maybe because again, you don't have natural choke points to defend. Well, you have ramps for your bases, right? So all the ramps are choke points. So your bases can be defended on ramps. That's choke points. Secondly, this bases here has got some choke points. And thirdly, because you give a player an easy free base setup, then player can build their own unit composition and position that is not easy to attack into them, right? Yeah. I think if you make a map where you have expansions are difficult to hold, then you need choke points to create those positions. But if this is a macro map, right? That's my point. This is a macro map. It's easy to defend here. It's easier to defend than to attack probably. Because of the buildable terrain and the ramps. So I think it's okay. I don't mind. The min only is very strong. If you go even, I'm not sure. Yeah, I agree, Freaking. Yeah. So this map is very standard, guys, right? So for sure this map is very standard. All right. Is the complete map? Yes, it is a complete map. I had my doubts in the beginning, but it is a complete map. Gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 1 just because it's a standard map. It's gonna play well. You can play defense. You can do different stuff here. I think it's okay. Design, I mean, I think it's gonna get a 1. It's an okay design. The expansions are well thought through. It's relatively standard, but definitely fine. Yeah, visuals. I mean, let's give it a half again, right? Let's give it a half, just because it's not an ugly map, right? It's not an ugly map. It's just super plain. It doesn't have anything really going for it. We could give it a 0, but I think maybe it's not fair to give it a 0. Yeah, maybe it's not fair to give it a 0. If you get my point. Structure seems to be good. Agreed. Even Benzene has some split abilities. Yeah, but Benzene is I don't think Benzene is a good example of a map. I mean, Benzene is played a lot, and it's a funky map, right? But Benzene for me is yeah, Benzene is a map, right? But I wouldn't use it as a standard, especially in current days. Benzene has got its flaws. That's my point, right? Yeah. So I'm just quickly reading. I'm just quickly. Oh, you can actually see I'm reading the chat now. Yeah, because I have my full screen there. Yeah. Good. So overall, a nice map. Sorry, it's a nice map, but of course, it doesn't really switch me on in a sense. Like, wow, crazy! I wanna jump and play versus AI on it. Okay. Blindness. Okay, we have another Korean map, Blindness. I can't read Korean versus 091, created by Katie Man. I remember Katie Man from last year also. So tileset is ice. Let's see how much how blind I'm gonna be after watching that map. That's the usual concern with ice maps, but maybe it's not gonna be that bad. There's a lot of dirt here. Let's check it out. All right. So another 2-player map. It's all of them. We start here. 1, 2. Excuse me. 9 minerals, standard. Nice main. I like main. I mean, this is my personal thing maybe, but I like mains that have, you know, some vision blockers, so you can do some attack from here, but then you get some, you know, some vision from here. The problem is that if you make everything high ground, it's making really difficult to hold different types of harassment because turrets don't shoot and, you know, different things and ideas like, you know, lifting units and so there are many tactics to discuss. So this is a nicely sized main with good vision over you know the surrounding area here. We have a nice X here. This is like Sylphid, right? Basically Sylphid X. Let's call those Sylphid X. Nice entrance to the natural base. 7 minerals though, so really hope that third base is somewhat achievable. We're gonna check it out later. This is this is a very nice natural choke here. Terran can wall it off. So this is already like a map where you can, you know, yeah, really be defensive on your natural base, right? Your natural base can be relatively easy defended for many reasons here. And then we have this big area here. Again, everything is buildable. This is a small comment to all map makers. Really consider doing this a little bit unbuildable. I think making everything buildable just makes Terran pushes very abusable with turrets, and also Terran can make really strong positions very quickly if you make everything buildable. So I'm not saying to make it completely unbuildable, but maybe limit it a little bit. Just my point. It's a tough topic, right? The buildable terrain or unbuildable terrain. I think making everything buildable like this is too tricky, but we're gonna check it out. Anyway, so from here we move into that possible third base, which is again 7 minerals. It's okay. I think the distance is fine for all races. All races can take this. There is a not too wide choke here, so Zerg can put maybe some lurkers here, maybe a Sun Cannon and 2 lurkers, and that should be okay. There is a big freaking Solnaga temple that is also allowing us to go to this base, or possibly opponent could destroy it to pressure this base, but I don't think this is really going to happen. I mean, it's unlikely that... I think it's the player that is expanding that is rather to destroy it than an attacking player. So it's just more of an obstacle of taking your quick 4th base. Although as Terran, you know, it's easy to do it because you get your 3rd base, just put some... You need to have siege tanks here anyway, so you kill it and you get a 4th base. So in reality for Terran, it's a pretty neat 4th base setup with majority of your army here, just sitting here with turrets, and then getting up to this direction, just walling it off with a couple depots, and you just put 2 tanks here and all your army here, and you can pretty much hold everything. So it's a very strong 4-base setup here on this map, with 4 bases being very easy to take. This is no issue. I don't know if this is stacked or not, but for Zerg, for any race basically can take a very easy 4-base setup here. And speaking of that, I don't think there are other bases that are easy to take. I mean, this base over here, very open and exposed. You could see a lot of space here. well, Protoss can inferior pylon for like 1, 2, like a 3 pylon block, 4, like 5 pylon block here. But still, if you 5 pylon block this, then a drop here, and you know, where do you put cannons? It's a hard base to hold. So definitely every race would like to expand to this direction. So the way how we have to look at it is a 4 base setup with potential for your 5th base over here, which is not that far from your natural. Definitely can be taken. I actually like this base. It's a 5th base. It's not so simple to take, but you know, it's a 5th base, right? So come on, let's not be too nice to the players. You need to fight for it a little bit. What else we have here on that side? So this is symmetrical. So we have this 5 base setup here, and then there's the corner base. The corner base is not distinct. It has got 8 minerals and a gas, so it doesn't have like 2 gases. It has got 2 ramps, so both players can very easily attack it. I think it's actually, yeah, it's not, it's neither no man's land, right? In the sense that it's positioned, I think, it's the same distance for both players to get to those bases. Almost the same distance, right? It's probably a little bit faster to. Well, actually, I think this base actually belongs to this player, right? And I think this base belongs to this player. I think that's basically just geometrically, I think it's much closer rather than walking roller here. Just because how the map is built, you can see the edges on the top and the bottom of the map are a little bit cat, so probably it's actually like this. Although, of course, thinking about this is a 4 base setup, maybe it's actually, I don't know. Doesn't matter. So 5th and 6th bases, far away, hard to take, exposed. This ramps here, you need to have a lot of army basically to take those, right? Easily harassable and so on. So also some spaces behind the minerals for different kind of drop ships or vultures just get in here or whatnot, storm drops, you name it. So, but I think it's cool. It's actually really cool. Okay, what else do we have here? So it's a 4 base setup with 5th and 6th base rather hard. Let's check the middle. So, oh wow, what are these big building blocks? It looks like, well, it's a floor hatch unused. Okay, so some floor hatch unused here. It's funny that you get those. Where is this object actually? What is? Oh, this is actually okay. So it's those. Okay, so yeah, this is the floor hatch. Of course it is. There is a NORAD 2 in the middle here. Not sure you can repair and fly this again. Was it Duke or one of those guys still sitting inside, watching over the game, making sure that, you know, no IMBA in StarCraft. A lot of buildable terrain for different kind of proxies, so I think it's fine, although I would probably limit the amount of buildable terrain, because if you make too much buildable terrain, if you can proxy here, and you can proxy here and here, it just creates too much bullshit ultimately. So also limiting some of the buildable terrain will limit the amount of just unnecessary proxy games, which could happen on a one-on map always. Just think about it, one-on-one maps are always much more prone to proxy games, because you know where your opponent is, so you can just straight up send your worker and build whatever you like everywhere. So I think on one-on-one maps, it's somewhat reasonable to limit more of the buildable terrain and create just some obvious proxy locations. Like, for example, you know, cut this, make this all unbuildable. All this should be unbuildable. Maybe make some spaces in the middle, like 2 or 3 spaces buildable. And then, you know, this would be a proxy base, this could be a proxy location, then maybe 2 or 3 places in the middle, and that's it. That's just better. Else, you know, just too bizarre with different A-tracks, double gates, and whatever it can be, right? I think it's a good, healthy, it's a healthy approach to, you know, to just yeah, more unbuildable terrain. What else we have here? So when we move in the middle, yeah, the middle is quite big, but it's actually, I like that the middle is locked by these structures like this. So you can't just, you know, if your army is in the middle and your opponent comes from here, you usually just can't run around forever. You may have to run around the top line or the bottom line, right? You can't just completely openly run everywhere all the time and flank, and so you have to prepare your position prior. There's no high ground also here, which is actually interesting. There's no high ground on this map at all. So it's like Sylphid, although Sylphid has got no high ground also. No, it has got the base, the 4th base has got some high ground, right? And the only high ground here is also this part. So there's no high ground, which is an interesting choice. I'm not saying it's wrong or good. I think it's just interesting. I wonder, is this something you can land on? I just need to check this. This is gonna be the last thing we're gonna check. Let's do this. Let's do a quick. If you can land on this would be so cool, right? It would be so cool if you can land on this. But first things first, I really like the map. To be honest, I really like the map. I think the map is good looking. Like, this is the kind of objects I'm looking for when thinking about visuals. I think this is unique, right? I'm not saying this is extremely beautiful, but this is unique. It's unique for the map. and it's nice. This is nice composition. You can see there are no bugged tiles anywhere, right? Everything fits very well. So there's actually this map actually, in my perspective, is very good looking. Okay, let's see if you can land on those. Just a small check for fun here. And no, you can't, of course. I wasn't expecting that you could land here, but that would be so cool, right? That would be so cool if you could land on those big freaking towers and, you know, put a siege tank here or something like that. I think that would be cool. But I don't think it would be much of play, really, but I think it would just be cool to see this. All right, let's go to the scoreboard, guys. Very quickly checking the chat here. Very ancient map maker. Yeah, I definitely, yeah. Yep. All right, let's go to the scoreboard, guys. So here's Excel. So first of all, map is definitely complete. I think. So the only concern I have about gameplay, on this map is it may give too easy 4 bases, right? Maybe it's too easy 4 bases, because it is really easy 4 bases currently with no unbuildable terrain. With that Zelnaga there, it doesn't really cut it. I mean, maybe it's stackable. I don't know if it's stackable. If it's stackable, then it's a little bit harder, but I don't think it's really matter that much. Maybe it's it's probably too hard on the too easy on 4 bases, making this just a plain macro game, defend macro game, right? Build up to 100 of whatever, and then yeah, just 4 bases too easy to take there. I mean, you can play, of course, anything else, but the 4 base setup seems to be pretty easy to get and very strong for many matchups. For ZVT, ZVP, PVZ, TVP. For these 5 matchups, at least, it sounds pretty easy. If that map could have like a 3.5 base, maybe that would be better. I feel like what this map would really benefit from is rather than giving 4 gas bases like it has, maybe the 3rd base should be a mineral only. You get my point, right? 3rd base should be a mineral only, or 4th base should be a mineral only. Or probably 3rd base should be a mineral only. So it's kind of like a polypoid setup, where you get like 3 gases plus 1. I think that would make it much better. So even if you get this 4 base setup, you don't get the 3rd gas immediately, but you only get your 4th gas later. I think that would be really cool. This kind of adjustment is something that I would try to make around this map, because just a 3-4 base setup like this is maybe you know, too convenient to just go big macro every single time. So on gameplay, I'm thinking about 1 and 1.5. I would give it 1.5, but I'm gonna give it 1 because it has some improvement ideas still. Design is really nice. I think design is really nice. I think the location of expansions, the middle with the buildings, the faraway corner expos, everything is really nice and thought through. The amount of space for harassment versus the amount of space of relatively secure bases. The 5th bases were really nice. I really like the design. I'm gonna give it 1.5 here on the design. I will reserve 2 for innovative design. So again, this is nothing like super fancy, if you get my point, in the sense of like, you know, we have never seen it before, but it's a very good design. So we're gonna leave 2 for something that really gonna surprise us, but this is really solid. Visuals, I'm gonna give it 1.5. So we'll have first 8 here. Visuals are really good. I like the objects in the middle. Everything is very neat. There are no wrong tiles around the map. The map is pleasing to an eye, even though it's ice tile set. I really like it. Like, think about a map like, what other ice map? We have Optimizer. Optimizer is also an ice map, and it's disgusting. Optimizer looks really bad. I think it's just such a boring map, but this is also the same tile set, and KDman managed to really make it look smooth. So, really good job on that one. I think it's a good one-on-one map, but definitely some improvements around gameplay. That's where I would see it. And yeah, design not so much. It's just a standard map, so we can only get as much out of it. Siema Mazi, nie, dzisiaj nie. Dzisiaj tylko lecimy map review. Sorry, there was a question if we're gonna play today. Anyone doesn't like land on chimney? Land on chimney. Oh, you mean the middle structures there? Yeah, I think they were okay. I mean, something unusual. That's good. I think it's okay. Yeah. I really like the map. I haven't played it, but just, you know, I think it was a really nice map. Clearly the favorite from what I've seen so far. Alright, let's go another one. We have another map. We have Blood of the Scribe 2 NSL, which I believe is the North America Star League or something like that. I think that's correct. And we have to destroy all buildings. I don't have an author here, so let's check it out quickly. So Blood of the Scribe, author is Nom Cookie Master from Canada. Shout out to Nom Cookie Master from Canada for making this semi-island experimental map. Okay, so we're here for a treat. There's gonna be some novelty ahead of us. Let's see what they managed to do here. Whoa! All right, we get some unplaceable Zerg X immediately in our face. All right, wow, this is whoa! Look at that staircase. I haven't seen such a big staircase ever. And lava appearing on it. Bloody hell. I like the staircase. God damn it, this is a crazy staircase. Seriously. Crazy staircase. Alright, let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 minerals here. Okay, double expo map. Immediately, right out the gate, we have a double expo game. But we have those absolutely humongous staircases. And this is an even bigger one because this actually turns. What are we looking at? This is bizarre. This is an experimental map for sure. Okay, let's try to understand it first. Let's try to understand the flow of the map first, and then we're going to talk about different aspects. So we have this base here. We have this big staircase. This big staircase leads us to another staircase to a small mineral only. So it's a staircase map. A lot of staircases here. This looks really cool, by the way. I'm not sure if this looks really good. I mean, especially this staircase. This looks like freaking real stairs. I mean, this one you can see the tiles, right? That they are like this. I mean, this is StarCraft, so you can do better. But this staircase, this looks so real, right? This doesn't even look like it's done from small tiles. So really good job on that one. So we have this mineral only here. So we have a 3-base setup, basically. And this is a one-on-one map. I was almost thinking it's a 4-player map, but it's a one-on-one map. So we have this setup here, and there is nothing here. So there's this closed, 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 closed. Close, 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 close. So there is no way of getting around until we get to this point, which can be either achieved from this top path, or it can be achieved from this big path over here. Ultimately, okay, this is also locked with some. Does that exist, or is this just a sprite? We'll check it out in a second. But there's another base here also, so we can go and this another base. By the way, how many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 plus 9 plus another 8. So plenty of minerals. Very rich map. And then we get here. There's a Xel'Naga. There is something we're gonna check. That gets us to even more bases and more bases and more. So many bases on this one. This is also an island base. Island base, and this is not an island base. Okay, this connects to this base. This is where. Okay. So anyway, so there's like 2 halves of the map, right? So this is one half of the map. And this is another half of the map that is symmetrical, and they are connected by this big path at the bottom of the map. And then you can basically walk to your opponent, assuming this is this real? I'm not sure if this is intentional. This is probably not intentional, right? This is probably a mistake. This is probably a mistake, guys, right? I assume this is a mistake. This is supposed to be a real temple, not just a sprite. Anyway, this is a real Xel'Naga though. So basically, this is kind of probably. Supposedly it's locking you out from this part, but right now it's not. And here we have the Xel'Naga, but you can just go for this. But okay, so in theory, as long as you wall this part of your main, then you are okay to not get attacked, because this whole part is sealed off with a Xel'Naga temple and a temple, so kind of like Ling attacks or Zeal attacks you can get for here. So basically it's a big macro map where you can get this base and this base pretty much instantly with no real threat from your opponent. So it's a very big macro map. And then you can go for this line here. This is all unbuildable, of course. This is all unbuildable. So basically you just have to fight your opponent at some point, and who gets the bigger army wins. Although these are super extremely well defensible positions. It's almost impossible to attack, basically. Any of these positions is almost impossible to attack. Also, this choke is very little. You can put units here, and you can also get this base. But I don't see a reason of taking this base. You can get this base and also this base and this base, which looks to be much easier to be done. You just put your army here and you hold half of your map. I'm not sure why this map is called a semi-island map. And I'm not sure why there's a Zerg egg here and why there's a Zerg egg here also. Maybe this is to not walk on this tileset or something, but there are some weird components on it. Yeah. So let's imagine we play a game here. We're let's take a matchup. Let's take PVZ, build this, make a lot of Corsair because it's an air distance map. So Mutas and Corsairs play. You just progress to your third base relatively quickly. You can do Reaver, you can do basically build up a whole lot of army, whatever best army with upgrades, and you kill your opponent, or you at least try to fight him here over here. If you're Zerg, you want to build. Also, your third base is super quick versus any race, versus Terran, versus Protoss, versus any race. You make your bases immediately. You can Sunken up here, or try to put a hatchery here and Sunken up here. This will be right. Yeah. Also, similar situation here. You can just utilize, this defensively, or just Mutalisks will wreck Terrans here completely with your free base setup. So Zergs are going to be extremely strong versus Terran on this map because this doesn't really give Terran so much. The reason is simple. You have to hold this position and then you later have to hold this position. So Zerg is going to be particularly strong on a map like this. Not versus Protoss maybe, but versus Terran. So yeah, and Protoss versus Terran is also going to be very good because how do you actually attack here as Terran? This is just carrier map, right? Carrier map into the win. Forever high ground. Basically, this position is you cannot attack. Jesus Christ. This is where you have to attack, but this is narrow chokes again. Oh, bloody hell. This map. What a crazy map, guys. What a crazy map. What a crazy map. What a crap. Like, I'm thinking... So, this map is not gonna work like it is now for sure. It has got too many expansions that do not matter. All the bottom of the map doesn't matter. It's gonna be a free base fest. It's like an instant free base. Make and abuse whatever you can, right? Just abuse anything you can as fast as possible. Abuse the air, abuse, the fact that you have free base, and just abuse the fact that you cannot be attacked because you have super small ramps and the forever high ground here. So this is kind of like the setup. So it's like carriers, it's like super quick hive, whatever, this kind of things. And it's hard to harass these bases because they are connected like this. So it's just a big macro fest. Not much to be added here. I'm thinking how this map should be fixed. I think definitely this base shouldn't be so easily achievable. I mean, I assume this is a real temple. So if that is a real temple, then this base is just too easy to achieve. So probably you should focus more on this is a kind of a map where 2 base is good, right? Because it's 2 base, but you can't really attack from 2 base, right? Because there's so much high ground and so many different things. So this should be more of a 2 base map. Cut off the third base somehow. Maybe limit the amount of expansions. Make it like 4 expansions here, 4 expansions here, and like a congestion point here in the middle with like a 5th base so people fight over it. It probably needs like extra paths somewhere. Like a small path here maybe for Zerglings or something like that. You get a point, right? Something for more interaction between players. Like some paths somewhere, because one path is just boring strategically, right? It's just kind of like build up economy and fight. These are the adjustment we need here, right? Add more paths maybe for some scouts or like small units only. Some expansions should be removed. There are too many, like 3 expos here do not make much sense at all. It's just boring and doesn't make it. This should be a 2 base map into a potential of a 3rd map. With these adjustments, this could actually be a really cool map, right? But without it right now, it's just unplayable. I feel like it's a fun map. It has got some cool features, but it's just so far from something that could possibly work. Yeah. Map seems unfinished for sure. Let me just quickly check chat here. It looks like some use map settings map from Warcraft 3 a little bit. True. Nothing like a Zerg egg to the face, right? How many maps are you reviewing today? I don't know. When I'm gonna get tired, I'm just gonna stop it. Too hard to imagine real maps on this map, for sure. All right, let's go to the verdict, guys. Blood of the Scribe. Okay, so map is complete. Map is not complete. It has got a lot of weird things in the Xel'Nagas, and so we're gonna give it a 3 on the completion. It's still a lot of work has been put into it, and I like a lot of parts of it, but it's not a complete map for sure. Gameplay, yeah, I mean, currently gameplay gets a 0, sorry. Not because it cannot be played, but it's just a big abuse fest. Big imba fest of everything. Yeah, the design needs adjustments. The adjustment that it needs is that it needs more paths, some kind of paths. Maybe, again, some limited paths for small units. It needs some more dynamics, or making it completely an island map. I don't know, like a semi-island map. Right now, it's not really a semi-island map. It was called a semi-island map, but it's not really a semi-island map, I think. It's a land map, to be honest, because a semi-island map is a map that has islands. This map has got no islands, and every path can be open ultimately. So it's not really a semi-island map in that sense. And you can go to your opponent with your scouting probe. So that needs to be fixed. Conceptually, yeah, it's a. Yeah, it's a 0 on design currently. Sorry, it's so many things to change, right? So many things to change. Visuals. So first of all, the map is really ugly. The tiles is really ugly, but I really appreciate the stairs, the staircases. I like the staircases so much. I think there is a possibility of utilizing that in some other projects, or utilizing this in that project by just redesigning a couple other things. So I'm gonna, as a matter of liking those new innovative graphics on the maps, I'm gonna give it a 1. Map is really ugly, but it just has got some novelty in it. I have not seen such a big staircase before. I mean, that bottom to top staircase, it looked perfect. It looked like it was something that Blizzard made themselves, as part of making the editor. So don't get me wrong, the map is ugly, but it deserves an appreciation for how it looks like with the amount of tiles that the guy had to put there, right? I just think we need to appreciate some novelties so other people can also get some inspirations from them. So overall, score is 4 because it's an unplayable map and it needs a lot of fixes and work, but it's an interesting map. I like conceptually where it's going. Maybe at some point it can be an actual real good map. No, it's a lot of stuff has to be changed. A lot has to be changed. Free is very kind. No, it's just that the map is, when I talk about map being complete, I mean it doesn't have places that were not addressed. You know what I mean, right? That, yeah. Yeah, from player perspective, yeah, true, Radley. But again, guys, the map got the total score of 4, so hopefully you understand me. So this is actually the lowest score we had, but yeah, I don't know, Radley. You're right, but we're not going that deep into the rabbit hole today, so we have to make some assumptions here, right? We have to make some assumptions. Yeah, AI units for sure go crazy, and human units probably also go crazy. That's why I thought you need extra paths where you need like between that long river in the middle, you need some extra paths. Like again, maybe just some proper drawn paths or some Zergling Zealots, small paths. Something like this. Thanks for the follow, 2easy games. Alright, let's move on to the next map then. Let's see what it is. So we have butter. I love butter. I really do love butter. Smooth like butter. Like a criminal undercover. Gun pop like trouble, break it into your heart like that, get it, let it roll. Okay, there's some lyrics here. I don't know if it's supposed to rap it or sing it or what is exactly the theme. Made by Halsey. Oh, sung by BTS. Okay, BTS. So that is actually a song. Okay, I know BTS. I don't know the song. No, I never listened to them. But okay, so this is Halsey must be a Korean brother, I guess, right? Let's check it out. 08011. Yeah, there's some discrepancy between the version numbers here. Let's just quickly check it out here. Butter is done by Halsey from Korea. Shout out to Halsey from Korea for his submission to the New Worlds Map Contest number 2. Let's check out the map. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so Talsit is desert. Not so many desert maps these days. I feel like it's not such a common one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minerals again. Everything's standard here. Pretty okay main. Yeah, this is fine. There is enough vision here. So we've seen exactly a very similar setup in the KD Man map, right? A little bit of visibility here. There's some high ground here, but it's not visibility, and there's some high ground here, so this is fine. Very, very wide. Wait a second. Very wide entrance here. I'm not sure why this is such a wide entrance, because if you do a wide entrance like this, you limit the amount of strategic choices a player can do, right? So for example, if you're Terran, you can't play one base wall into something. If you're Protoss, you know, well, you can double gate, I guess, as Protoss here. But you get the point, right? I don't think it's good. I mean, it just makes things much harder. If you're PvZ, you can't gate expand because you can't block it. So this shouldn't be that big. I think this is a misconception. It's just really limiting the amount of choices a player has. That's my point, right? Anyway, we go to a natural where we have 8, so it's 9 plus 8 setup again. So a little bit more, you know what I mean, a little bit more what? Oh, I forgot English. More resourceful, whatever. This is normal, this is fine. This is normal, this is fine. Yeah, you can't really wall his turn, but you can semi-wall his turn, this is fine. The natural here is okay. Yeah, I think this is doable for most of the races here. It's a little bit far out here in the middle, but it's fine. It's fine. This is okay. So the main natural design is nice. I'm not sure about those rocks here, not my taste, but it is what it is. Yeah, this looks all good. All right, so we're past main and natural base. I don't see any issues with this. Not sure. Yeah, the visuals here are a little bit suffering. My eyes are a little bit hurt, but it is what it is. That's a choice. We get out here in the open space from our base, and we're looking for our third base. We can go to the right side, where we have a poor man's base with 6 minerals. But remember, this is 8 minerals, so 8 plus 6 is still okay. But guess what? This is gonna punish Zerg players, right? Because now Terran and Protoss gets this nice fat 8 minerals, but Zerg only gets this, you know, they get a 6 mineral here. While if this was 7 and this was 7, then Zerg would have been better off. So this is definitely scrutinizing Zerg a little bit. And this is also not exactly the easiest base to take because of the dual ramps setup, and this ramp is facing your opponent. So this base can be pressured relatively easy, and you can't hold it with like Sunkens here. You know, you can't hold a ramp basically like in a pocket expansion. Alternatively, you can go left here to this third base, but this third base also is extremely exposed. It's further from your opponent, and it has got 7 minerals. Okay, so probably this is your third base pick. And actually, as Zerg, you can do like a double hatch here and Sunken behind here versus Protoss. While versus Terran it's a little bit harder, right? So versus Terran, it's actually really heavy to hold it. Okay, so Zerg has got a hard time here. Terran, though, will be able to secure his third base. Pretty much doesn't matter. He can probably take this base or this base. This base is probably the one that Terran would like to take. Just rally all his tanks over here and easily hold this base. So TVP expansions are fine. PvZ expansions, I think, also fine. PvZ Protoss can take this one, just put some cannons. Can also take this one. So the only issue I see in expanding is for Zerg. Both for ZVT and ZVP. Well, for ZVP it's okay. For ZVP it's okay. Zerg can take this one and then can take this mineral only, or this base even. So for ZVT there is a struggle here. ZVT, Zerg doesn't really get his third base or fourth base easily or at all. So some maybe this should be a pocket expansion high ground. I don't know, something like this. Or this should be more narrow or no this RAM. I don't know. Some issues in ZVT I perceive here. For PvZ and for TVP, I think it's all okay. So small adjustments needed, maybe. All right, anyhow, so we have the 4 base setup here. We can pick and choose from some options. And what we have else? We have this interesting setup where we have the base in between the players, a nice admiral base, towards the enemy. So Terran would like to take that base versus Protoss probably. Or Protoss would like to take this base against Zerg. Maybe, I'm not sure. This is quite open though, so it's not so easy to hold. But it's a base between players, so it's fine. It's an 8 minerals base. Maybe comes into the later game. Alternatively, we have the left side of the map, and the left side of the map is high ground, while the right side of the map is low ground. So you can easily move around the right side of the map if you want to avoid fighting on high ground versus, for example, Mutalisks, or if you're Terran versus Protoss, you can, you know, pretty much move around here. Some narrow bridges, but not too narrow, so pretty nice. Or you can decide to go high ground. You have those nice sized ramps, so there's no issue of getting stuck or, you know, abusing them completely. And you can again take this path through the middle and go down, or you can go even higher on the high ground. This is somewhat buildable in some spaces, and this is completely unbuildable. That is fine. So we have this another high ground, and then we have another base, kind of opposite to this base over here, but this one is very far away from all the players. So we have the 4 base setup here. Sorry, 4 base setup. Maybe even 5 base setup with this mineral only. It's a poor man's base here. It's 6 minerals, but still it's so far from your opponent. Maybe you can take it. And then we have those 2 extra expansions spinning from the middle. One is super risky because it's just between the players. Low ground, very close to this base also. And one is just like a hidden base. It's like an eclipse. It's like an eclipse base with double gas in the top left corner. Right? Good place for hidden bases. Not on any scouting patterns. Very far away, right, from anything. Also bear in mind this mineral only can be attacked from a high ground with different drops, maybe even Voltron. So I don't know if you can put a unit here. So it's not so easy to take them, despite being on your 7-1. There's a little zoo also here. If you fancy mind controlling one of the critters, you can mind control any kind of a critter from the game, also including Kakaru. So map opens up for alternative strategies with mind control of critters. I like that they are trapped. I hate maps that have creatures walking around and block your expansions. So this is good that someone decided to put them in a freaking prison. I'm just gonna check this. Can you... Yeah, you can actually get in here, right? No, you can't get in here. Okay. Yeah, you can. So you can even put a marine or whatever here and just start, you know, attacking those, or a goon, whatever. Yeah, marine. So this base is really exposed. Oh, this base also has got only 1,000 minerals. I just realized. So everything has got... This is also 1,000 minerals. Okay. So it's only the initial 4 bases that has got 1,500, and as soon as you start expanding into the further parts of the map, you only get 1,000 minerals and 3,000 on gas, same as this base. So basically, the idea of the map is that you have up to 4 bases, and then the sooner you start expanding any further, the bases are getting very risky and also will run out rather quickly. I think it's a choice. I'm not gonna comment on it too much. It is what it is. We would need to see how it plays out. So, to sum it up, the part that gets me most excited about is not the critters, it's not the Ragnazaurs and Scantids and Bangelas. It's not that. It's not the Kakarus. It's the part how the map is really going to play out from the design part. So, we basically have 3.5 paths. We have the low ground path, we have the high ground path, and we have the double high ground path. Depending on, like, you know, what you want to achieve, if you want to attack the bases on here on the left, or you just want to go for a crushing attack from the middle and have this high ground advantage when attacking, or you want to avoid getting, you know, kind of like stuck here, your opponent putting units here, you can actually avoid it. So it's pretty nice map for, you know, harassment and different ways of attacking your opponent. You can pick and choose from, you know, different angles. You can run your units around here or here or here. So four paths. I like it. I think it's good. How much of play will the left side of the map see is my concern here. Like, is it really going to be that important that these bases are even here? How desperate you would have to be to take this base or this base? Especially these are, you know, 3,000 and 1,000. So it's only really a late game scenario that you would take those bases. Is it reasonable that, like, Terran takes the 5 bases in this corner and Protoss takes the rest of the map? Maybe it is. And Protoss just sharks around here versus Terran, or like Protoss sharks around here versus Zerg. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a pretty cool map. Actually, I don't know exactly how it's gonna play out because there are so many variables in this. But I think it opens up for some interesting ideas overall. Harassment on this map is relatively okay. Yeah, it's not really a map where you can just camp and do nothing. It's not really a map that you can be overly aggressive. It has got a little bit of everything, which is basically what you want from a map, right? No real ways of hard contain. Maybe, again, some extra limitations on buildable terrain. Could be an idea, but again, if you have a lot of paths like here, unbuildable terrain becomes less important because, you know, you can't just lock your opponent or just make a super strong position because there are many paths around the map to use. I think it's a fine map. I pretty much like it. It has got a lot of good stuff in it. Let me check the chat first. ZVT seems hard. Yes, ZVT is the only problem that needs to be fixed on this map. Maybe much better if an egg exists entrance. For what exactly? I'm sorry, I didn't really... I'm not sure if I'm following the same discussion here. Rams probably need to be changed to have the same width anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought about it. Let me just see what exactly you mean. Oh, you mean because they are too wide? Yeah. So this. Yeah, exactly. No. So this needs to be fixed, right? So the path between main and natural needs to be fixed for sure. Here, I don't know if you need the X. I would need to check it on the real cases, depending on the matchup, I guess. But yes, for sure there could be improvements. All right, let's go to the scoreboard, guys. So butter, nice name for map, buttery map. Is map complete? For sure, it's a complete map. Gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 1 for sure. 1. Can we give it more than 1 here? Do we have arguments for more than 1? I think the map is cool. It has got some possibilities for picking up your third base. You can take the high ground third base with small ramps. You can take the far third base if you want to expand more to the left side of the map with the potential of taking the mineral only. Because if you take the third, actually, yeah, maybe. Can we give it 1.5? Can we give it 1.5? No, I think gameplay is still 1. Design, yeah, I'm gonna give it 1. I like 4 paths. I like that you get a low ground path. You get different paths you can move around, and there is the play on the left side. So I think this is pretty good. Maybe even 1.5 on design. I actually like the design of the map. I mean, it has got flaws, right? But I think we're gonna give it 1.5. It's gonna get 0 on visuals though. I think map looks quite disgusting at this point. The doodads are not fitting at all, and there are also some issues. I'm not sure where should I, you know, the map needs fixes, right? The map needs fixes. Don't get me wrong. There are fixes that needs to be done, especially around the natural bases. There are maybe some adjustment on the third bases. The third base is the high ground, the other one. I think they have some issues. And they also need to, yeah, we're gonna give 1 on the design because the ZVT part needs to be fixed, basically. ZVT needs to be addressed on this map. Right now, ZVT is not gonna work, I feel like. And also the fact that you get the 9, 8, and then 6 on the minerals. Oh no, actually you can get the 7 on the other one. That's probably okay. Yeah, I think that's so 6 or 6.5. But I think if everything gets fixed on this map, this could be a really good map. I think it's got a nice flow to it, and there's not that much that needs to be done to make this a really good map. That's just my opinion. Yes, yeah, I agree. The main entrance, the not to main, and the other one is probably missing something. Yeah, visuals were not too good, to be honest. Yeah, visuals were not too good. Sorry to say that there's definitely a lot of improvements possible around the visuals. So, I mean, I think the majority of the map looked okay, but there were just parts that were super ugly, right? So the super ugly parts have to be taken out for sure. Like the rocks from the other tile sets, and so this just didn't work so well, right? This just didn't work so well. All right, guys, let's do one more map. I'm gonna see if I can do one more. I'm getting a little bit tired at this point. We're 2 hours in a stream now, so let's see if we can continue at that speed. I'm also taking my time, as you can see. We have done how many maps so far? Let's see. We've done 8 maps. So let's do 9 maps. But this is obviously going quite slow. But we're also enjoying every map. This is not a map review speedrun for sure. Good. All right. Callisto version 1.44, created by Holyman. Let's get some more details on Callisto. So Holyman from Korea, big shout out to gentleman Holyman. Thanks for delivering another map. 2-player standard map is described. Let's see how it goes. Alrighty. So let's start with the basics again. 4-9, very standard stuff here. The main base. Very nice. A lot of vision here. That's okay. You know, it's a choice. It's a high ground map, so obviously, high ground main. Sorry, so obviously, this is how it should be. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is all fine. Okay, we have a ramp here. Yeah, some of these ramps don't look so neat, but that's another point. Anyway, so this is a nice size main. It's okay. Yeah, maybe, okay, this is, all right. Some annoyance, like, think about TVP, like, where do you put your factories? There's maybe a little bit too little space here. there's something flawed about how this main is set up, in the sense that you want to put your production here and there's not much space. So something to consider when you put the gas here and there's so little space between the ramp and the gas, right? Small things, but you know, you don't really wanna put all that empty space to the left and then just, you know, put so little space here. Just a consideration. This main has got it much nicer because obviously the gas is at the top, so it's much easier to put your like 3 factors here and the rest of the factories here. This is perfect, but in here it seems very clunky. Just an idea to consider. Anyway, we'll go to the natural base here, and the natural base is 7 minerals, so it's 9+7, very standard. And we have this very standard entrance here that can be both walled by Terran and Protoss, making your 2-base play and tech play and, you know, different kind of stuff possible, which is nice. Also long distance, right? Just thing to remember, guys, on all those one-on-one maps, it's basically cross position, right? It's basically cross position, so any kind of builds like 12 Nexus and, you know, like, especially if you make this wall like this, you know, there are a lot of bizarre strategies that can be played, which is fine, right? But just remember this, that this is cross position, and cross position has got its characteristics in the metagame aspects, right? So just keep that in mind. But it's a one-on-one map, so, you know, different things can happen. Anyway, this is a small natural base, but I don't think it's a problem that it's a small natural base. It has got enough space for everything. Also some nice available space here for extra defenses on you know, turrets or whatever you want to put here. Some vision blockers, but there is some distance between, you know, getting to that gas and so that's also okay. We move out from here, and we have some unbuildable terrain here. Not so much, so it doesn't really matter, but Terran can for sure abuse this to pick some turrets. And there's a nice mineral-only third base. I like the mineral-only here. It's an easy mineral-only to take for any race, basically. Any race can take this mineral-only very easy, and it's a 7 minerals. So it's not like Circuit Breaker 6 minerals, it's a 7 minerals base, so it's fine. It's good that it's here, because I already see that 4th base is a little bit more difficult, right? So if you make a 4th base more difficult, then at least give 7 minerals in the mineral only. Don't make it like a 5 mineral or something like this, because then it's kind of like worthless. It's not really nice, right? So Zerg can take this, no gas, but it's 7 minerals. It's pretty nice. So this is a fine concept. Also, maybe not a narrow path, but you know, this is again very small, so you can just put your second hatchery here. Can you? Oh, yeah, you can, and then Sun can, and this is kind of locked. Protoss can put couple cannons here, locked. Terran can put, you know, a bunker or so. So this is nice. Relatively easy defendable, close to your base. Nice free base setup, but not too nice because no gas. In the mirror only, I like it. Then we move out from here. We're looking for our 4th base. I think the 4th base natural candidate is the one on top, and this is 8 minerals. So a lot of minerals on this map. Mineral heavy map, kind of, right? So because this is minerals. And how is it? Is it actually something you can take as Zerg, for example? Well, as Protoss you can take it. As Terran you can definitely take it at some point, especially that you can turret. Well, you can only turret up to here, but I guess it's still okay. It's still possible to do. Ramp is a little bit big. Maybe ramp should be a little bit smaller for Zerg. I think with such a big ramp, it's gonna be very hard for Zerg to hold it. Not sure about it. What alternatives do we have here? So there is a 4-base setup on both players' sides, and then we have 2 extra expansions on top and to the bottom. It's not obvious for me which expansion is for whom. Seems like this expansion is more for the bottom player, while this expansion is for the top, but this expansion seems to be more like for this player, and this expansion seems to be more like for this player, especially that, okay, there are some power generators. We're gonna check them out in a second. So anyway, so it's kind of 4-base map, but again, we run into a little bit of ZVT problems here. Zerg will very much struggle with taking the 3rd base. There is a bit of an issue, unless this is a 3rd base for Zerg, but these power generators are very easily destroyable. 800 energy on power generator, you steam your Marines and you run for this in 10 seconds basically. Marines can crack it very fast, so any kind of sunken defense or lurker defense, you need to have it on both sides of the ramp. So pretty hard base to take. Maybe a stronger barricade here, if you really want to have a barricade. So first issue is, yeah, 4-base setup for Protoss or for Terran is definitely okay. For ZVP it is okay, but ZVT will have some problems because there is no base on the map that is a good 3rd or 4th base for Zerg versus Terran. As all the bases are very exposed, so putting lurkers or even sunkens doesn't gonna cut it. The bases are rather big, This is small, but again, Sankans will not. Maybe Sankans here, but again, can run behind minerals. Some issues with design of bases here. All right, let's see how the map plays out other than that. So we get our 4 base setup and we kind of want to go and attack our opponent. There are a lot of entrances to it, but none of the maps is particularly big. It's okay size though, it's fine. There's also not that much high ground. Once you get on that high ground, you can easily go and you get your low ground on the opponent's side. So there's not so much abuse in the sense of, you know, like multiple high grounds or multiple vision blockers for Mutalis Micro or multiple, you know, kind of like high grounds you have to climb every time you want to attack your opponent. So that's fine, and also a lot of paths here. Yeah, the power generators here, I'm almost keen to say that this should be removed and the whole ramp should be removed. That could fix a lot of ZVT problems, probably. But yeah, a consideration for sure. What else do we have here, really? Oh my god. What else do we have here? Let's check this base. This base is big. This base is... yeah. Yeah.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
What is this? Yeah, some errors here on the visuals, and so yeah. Yeah, I mean the map is standard as it was described by an author here. It's a standard map. You get your 4 base setup, but ZVT setup is very strong. So it's very strange, very strange. You can't get a. This is not a good ZVT map. I mean, not a good. I mean, it's almost impossible ZVT map. So that's a consideration. Big hugger in the middle. That's okay. We've seen it many times before. There's nothing wrong with the map as such, other than ZVT. The amount of expansions is fine. It's a 12 expansion map. I think for one-on-one maps, 12 expansions is definitely enough. Making more expansions on a one-on-one map would call for some kind of special design, if you get my point. Other than that, it's just worthless. So everything is fine with the map, but some considerations around how the expansions are placed needs to take. The middle part here is okay. I think it's good for harassment. Many paths to run around the top, bottom of the map, and the middle of the map. Basically, we can see that you have these 3 main paths, right? This is the bottom path, the middle path, and the top path. It's pretty much like this because all those ramps ultimately look at the same positions. So 3 paths is enough. Some airspace where you can put your shuttles and so, or carriers or so, but not too much. It's good. Some high grounds here, you know, where you can put your mutas and overlords. It's all good. Map looks fine. Just some minor adjustments, and other than that, I think it's a standard map. Not much more to be said, to be honest, guys. Not much more to be said. Yep. All right, let's go to the scoreboard here. So Callisto, is the map complete? For sure it is complete. Again, for those who have joined us late, scoring system is that as long as the map is complete, we give it a 4. And then if there's something's missing, we'll reduce that score. Gameplay, I give it a 1 again. It's nothing crazy, it's just a standard gameplay map. You get your 4 base setup, but there are issues. There are issues. So we could give it a half because ZVT needs to be fixed, but we also had the same issues in previous maps. So it's not a balanced map. It needs to look at ZVT for sure. There are issues with ZVT on this map. Design is very standard. It's gonna get a 1, I think. Not much to be said. It's okay. 3 paths. No strange issues. Maybe some unbuildable terrain here and there would add extra flavors. But overall, it's okay. Visuals, I think it's gonna get a half. Nothing. Is the half or is the 0? Maybe it's a 0. Maybe it's a 0 to be consistent, or a half. No, let's give it a half. We've been consistent with half. There is nothing on the map that basically turns me on. That's the point, right? And there are some small issues here and there. It's a space tile set also. I think spell tile set. It's really hard to make look nice, by the way. It's just difficult to make a spell tile set look nice. Although there are some nice things there. There was this green things around. There were these green things around here, I think, right? Which looked nice, actually. Some jungle add-ons, but they really looked neat. So I like it, but overall the map is, you know, from a visual perspective, it looks rather boring. It's just a lot of space, standard tile sets everywhere, right? So nothing exciting, nothing to, yeah, hang your eye onto. Maybe some of the ramps should be wider. I was thinking about it for a second. I almost made that comment, but then I realized that you actually have a lot of ramps. That's the first point. And actually you get those triple ramps in the middle, right? So you get like 3 ramps, 3 medium wide ramps in it. I think it's okay. I think it's fine, and maybe some of the ramps should actually be more narrow. Some of the expansion ramps maybe should be narrow to fix some of the ZVT issues. You have to remember, if you make a very wide ramp for ZVT, it's basically impossible to defend with lurkers. So you need to have either narrow ramps, very narrow ramps, or individual ramps. Or best is individual narrow ramps, because else it's really hard. I mean, guys, TVZ is really broken if you do not allow Zerg to create those narrow positions where they can hold with Muta or Lurker. That is just impossible for Zerg to play. They will never be able to defend their bases. That's the point. I mean, of course, with perfect Muta, you can always defend any base in any map, but that's not the point, right? The point is that you have even players that you can't just kill straight with Mutalisks. All right, let's do the last map, guys. So we're gonna go to... sorry, I just forgot to change my screen. I forgot to change my screen, so I was talking a little bit on the blank screen, I guess. What's your favorite tile set, Spider? I don't have my favorite tile set, but I think jungle maps look pretty good usually. It's just easy to make jungle maps look good, right? That's why you have Polypoid, Fighting Spirit, Sylphid. I mean, these are very popular maps and they look good because jungle, I think, just looks good. But I'm not saying it's my favorite tile set as such. I think you can make any tile set look pretty good. Pretty sure Korea hates all SC maps by now. No, for sure not. I love StarCraft maps, and by the way, I'm also a map maker in other games, so I really appreciate all the hard work that goes into map making. Therefore, I'm doing these reviews for map makers also because I know how much effort and heart goes into this. So no issue with reviewing all those. Shouldn't you judge visuals in relation to the possibilities of a tile set? I could do it, but again, I think it's also maybe not fair, right? I think... Yeah, I get your point, Freakling, but again, I think, you know, there are infinite possibilities of making cool maps, right? So let's leave it for people to figure it out. All right. Once Red Ripple came to land, foolish heart and faithful hand, in the golden sunset burning, little feet that touch no land, lapped against a maiden's hand, far away the ripple sped, by the ford returning, ripple, ripple, and running red. Wow, there's some poem here. We have poem here, version 08 beta, concepts by STY, Lezerk, X, Minerals, and Freakling. Shout out to this free gentleman for creating another map created by Minerals and Freakling. It's hard to read because obviously there's too much text in here, but we're not gonna judge the map based on the text overflowing here in the box. So probably a little bit too much text, but we're gonna check it out anyway, and we're not gonna reduce the score for that sake. Scary recall happening. I'm not sure if this recalls by... I don't mind, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if these visual effects on your main base are really adding any kind of flavor. I actually think they don't. It's just distracting when you need to, like, you know, when you need to, like, make your worker split and there's a freaking recall. You're like, whoa, what is happening? Okay, let's do this. Okay, so another one-on-one map. Already see there's a lot of effort on the visuals here, so we'll see. Let's start with the base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 10 mineral with this a little bit, you know, worse mineral here, further, and also only 500. But of course, me as an ex-2-port player, Wraith, I like 10 mineral maps because I like one base, and then I can get more minerals from my first base. So we have a nice main base here, a lot of vision blockers here, but the main is... Yeah, it's relatively big, but natural covers this side. So I guess it's 1, 2... It's a 4 terrace, right? If you want to do a ring, of course. 1, 2, 3... Yeah, it's 3, 4, 5 terrace. Okay, maybe debatable. It's probably okay. It's probably okay like this. I don't hate it. It's a nice big main also. And you can fit your production relatively easy. Although this has got the same issue as the previous map. It's not an issue, but it's a little bit limited. Like, you know, this position has got very nice spacing for your production. This position has got somewhat limited spacing because of the gas. So just an idea, you know, maybe push this a little bit, push everything a little bit down to give a little bit more space here, because people really want to put their production over here, and this just makes it a little bit, you know, narrow, clumped together. Same comment as in the previous map, right? And I understand the gas has to be on the top, otherwise it's inefficient. but just a consideration for the map makers. Really try to give this space to players so they can build their buildings comfortably, like they can do. It's much more space here than at the bottom part. Anyway, we move on here. We have a nice X here with a nice block. That's pretty good. I like those, by the way. I think this is good from a balance perspective. It adds nice flavors. And maybe this can also probably be, oh, I don't know if this can be a Terran block. Probably, no, maybe not. So probably no wall here, but yeah, probably just can't wall it. So you just go here, okay. What do we have here? Very humongous natural. What the hell with this natural base, guys? Come on. It's a little bit big, right? Not sure. This is really big, really wide, and also for ZVT. I mean, so Protoss can hold it with three holes, right? It's 3 holes for Protoss. It's one is here between fort and pylon, and then there are 2 you need to cover on top. But Zerg will struggle here. Like, how do you put your hatchery here? Right? How do you put it like this? Maybe like this. It's a bit wide. It's a bit wide to my taste, but whatever. This is of course good for Terran and Protoss, this kind of stuff, because you can defend Mutas much easier because you get that vision here. So this is making this life a bit easier. Bottom gas, guys. I'm not sure. This is of course bad because this is not optimal mining gas, unless there are some magical tiles here that Freak can figure out. Make this optimal, but I always, whenever I see bottom gas, I'm already getting scared. So just some small adjustment possibly. This is a little bit wide. I don't know that, all good here. So we'll leave our base, and we have a lot of unbuildable terrain. And this is a fine amount of unbuildable terrain. Maybe even this kind of location should be removed, so we can't just turret your opponent very easily. But this is fine. Anyway, we'll leave this, and we are on the hunt for the third base as always. The third base goes here with 7 minerals, so we had 7, 7, and 10, or whatever, 9.5. This is okay distanced like this, and we have again 2 paths here. So just this is again not a ZVT base really. Again, this is a hard base to take. Just bear that in mind, guys. It's a hard base because it's a big base. It's a low ground base with oh, is there an Xel Naga here? What is this? There's an invisible Xel Naga. Can I go for here? What is happening here? Have you seen it was blinking a second ago? Does it show and does it disappear? What is the story? Okay. Something to revisit. I'm not sure what is happening here. I suppose this is a real Xel Naga, right? So this is blocked. And that's, of course, it's important that it's blocked because else this base is open. But I would also push this whole thing a little bit down. Make this base a bit smaller. It's just making such big bases is really hard to do. Alright, but is this a third base? There's also another third base down here. So you can just go down, but this base is even more difficult to take because it's even more exposed. So enjoy taking this base as Protoss, where like you want to build your base here and put cannons. And Zerg comes with 12 Hydras and just kills it and goes back because it's so far to hold. So this is your third base, but it's so big, so it's hard third bases. But again, it's a 10 mineral map, guys, so you can stay on 2 bases a little bit longer as Terran and Protoss. While as Zerg, I think as Zerg you only run into this big ZVT problem again, right? So I think for a ZVT perspective, maybe you want to make this base a little bit smaller. Make this base a little bit smaller, like move this wall a little bit higher. And consider, yeah, and this is okay with Xel Naga, because Xel Naga is enough time, Marines can take it. And I think this is an okay ZVT base then, right? But if it's that big, then it's not an okay ZVT base. Just a consideration for you guys. This is not a third base. This is a crazy third base for any race to take. Really hard to hold on the side of a map like this. A tough one. Okay, and then we have a 5th base here with that small ramp, but this is only a mineral only. Not the best base to take. Then we have another 2 bases here. Okay, let's just look at it symmetrically. So how do I analyze it? Do I analyze it top and bottom, or do I analyze it left and right? guess it's both ways is okay. I guess it's symmetrical both top left to right and top to bottom, right? It's a double symmetry here. So we have these 4 bases anyway. We have 4 bases in the middle now. All of them really hard to take. This base is a little bit out there, but these are actually pretty okay Zerg bases, right? So it's a shame these bases are so far out, because else they would really, you know, come in handy for Zerg players at least, and also for PvZ. I think they're okay. Small ramps like this. Just they're so in the middle, so exposed to everything. Huh. I'm just thinking here, guys. Sorry, I can't keep on talking. I need to analyze this a little bit. Oh, is this an island? Oh, these are island. Wait, these are islands. This must be islands. No, no, no. This is just tiles that like this, right? What is this? I thought this was an island for a second, but it's not an island, right? No, it's not. This could be cool if this was an island. I was thinking it's an island for a second. It looks like an island, but it's just completely open again. So I remember another map from you for Inkling, Tundra, was it right? Tundra had similar issues, where a lot of the bases were very exposed like this, like in the middle of everything, right? These kind of bases that are so open, it's really hard to get them going in real play, and I mean it. For any race, no race wants to take a base like this, basically. Because the thing of StarCraft is that StarCraft is a super imbalanced game, but because you can create those positions, narrow chokes, high grounds, you can do those little things, and then magic happens, and somehow the imbalance cannot be fully abused, right? This is the point of StarCraft. Like, you know, everything is so broken in StarCraft, but because everything is broken, kinda nothing is broken. But if you do those exposed bases like this, then it's very easy to abuse. That's the point, right? So, okay, let's talk business now, right? Let's talk business about this map. I've been looking at it now for long enough. So, it's difficult. It's rather okay to take a 3 base setup, but the 4th bases are really difficult for all the races to take. ZVT has got some issues again, because even if you take a 3rd base, maybe this is your 4th base. But I would prefer that, like, if this base had gas and it looked like this base, then it would have been okay. But because this is only a mineral only, with this middle path like this base really gonna be hard to take. Maybe in PvZ or ZVP. PvZ, ZVP, okay, but TVP or TVZ, no one is gonna want to take this base. While this bases, as much as I like them a lot, I like these pocket bases a lot, but they are just so far out here. It's making them again difficult, right? Like swapping, like I would even go like, I would remove these bases. I would remove these bases and make these bases somehow accessible more from a player side. I think that would really fix a lot of stuff on this map. Because right now we have like 4, 5, 6, 7, we have 14 bases, which maybe is too much. Is it 14 or am I wrong? Yeah, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 14 bases. 14 is a lot. And these mineral bases will be neglected, and these bases will be neglected most, right? These people would love to take those, but they are just so far in the middle of nowhere that you will just constantly get them harassed by everything, and you will never be able to get them safely. So I think that the best thing I could recommend, at least, is removal of those mineral onlys, which are again a little bit useful, and making these bases not so far facing middle of the map, but making them face like, you know, so player can actually access them like, you know, like from this side, maybe like from this, like make the ramp here and make them access from there, so they kind of become, you know, real base for the player, something like that. I think that would be nice, because ZVT has got big problems here, and also some of the bases are just too exposed. All right. The map looks really good other than that. I like the purple design. These tiles, we've seen them on the other maps. I don't think they really fit this purple thing, but that's just me, maybe. Just my, like, kind of like my aesthetics. I like aesthetics, by the way. Whenever I do it work something, I'll make it very neat. So maybe there are too many, I don't know. You've used them on the other map, and I think on the other map they look beautiful. On this map, maybe they don't exactly fit so well. Like in here they, like here they look good, right? Here they look pretty good, but here maybe not so good for some reason, right? The middle part they look good, but on the others they don't look so good. But overall it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like this kind of, I mean, this is exactly the stuff I really like seeing, right? I mean, this is unique, right? This is not a standard thing you see on any other map. So someone said this. Zoom zoom. Oh, zoom zoom. Wow, zoom zoom is so good. I didn't know this cheat exists. Zoom zoom cheat. Isn't this crazy? Yeah, good for map reviews for sure. Yeah, so map looks really good. All those things again. Freaking is very good at making those, you know, things like this. And this is unbuildable with some buildable things. So it's nice. Map is good for, like, it's enough for proxy. It's a one-on-one map. You can proxy here and here, but you can't just proxy your shit like, you know, well, I guess you can proxy it here, but this is again in front of the base, so that's good. It has got a lot of good things to it. I think it has got a lot of good things going for it, and there's not much that needs to be changed to make it really nice. That's my personal opinion. The map also plays around 3 main paths as other paths. We have the middle path that is the shortest path, but it's a narrow path, so it's difficult to make a big attack. Then you have to think about making a big attack from one of the sides. Of course, from a PvT perspective, it's a little bit annoying because every time Terran moves through one of the paths, Protoss just runs around and counter-attacks. But again, there are ways of handling this. But for that to happen, we need to fix some of these bases. We need to fix some of these bases to avoid the situations where people just go, you know, merry-go-round with TVP and stuff like this. So, some considerations. All right, I think I've seen enough of the map. I'm ready to make a judgment here. It's a really good-looking map. I agree. The map is looking really good. Yep. Yeah, the Excel Naga was a bit fun in there. All right, let's go to the verdict, guys. Let's go to the verdict here. Map is complete for sure. Gameplay. So we have the 3 paths. I'm a little bit worried that the 3 paths are too separated from each other. So a similar thing happens on Eclipse, but Eclipse managed to kind of survive that issue because Eclipse has got 5 paths, right? You have the top path through the corner. You have the top path through the 4th bases. You have the regular path above the, you know, the low ground path. You have the 4th path, the high ground path, and you have the 5th path, the bottom path on Eclipse. But despite having 5 paths, Eclipse is still segregated into 3 zones, like this map. And what happens on Eclipse sometimes is that, for example, carriers or this kind of, you know, like running around the map is very strong and very difficult to handle in some matchups because you can't connect your army. If you're on one side of the map, it takes you forever to go to the other side of the map. But Eclipse has got 5 paths, so it's a little bit easier to do because there are still some more ways to walk around. In here, it's completely segregated into 3 paths, while the middle path is very narrow. So it's almost impossible to use the middle path for like 200 armies because units will just get stuck and it's gonna be annoying, and you know, and it's a high ground ultimately with a small ramp. So the map only has got 2 paths. This is something to consider. I would open up the middle maybe a little bit more, open up the middle a little bit more, and allow those expansions, those pocket expansions, to be more accessible by players, not putting them very far out on the map. I think this would be maybe small fixes to do for sure. And also some small adjustments to the 3rd bases where ZVT will definitely struggle a lot. And also, ZVT will struggle a lot, and also fixing the pocket expansion will allow Zergs to maybe have a 4th base. Maybe some double gas bases sometimes also could be a consideration. But that's of course now dreaming about whatever, right? So gameplay, I think at this point, I can only give it a half. The reason is that there are a lot of issues still for ZVT and also for expansions. So there's some fixing that needs to happen there. Design-wise, I like the concept, but we need some more paths probably, both for harassment and for the big armies. Right now we have 3 paths basically, so it's a little bit too straightforward. It's like 3 paths and open bases, right? So basically if someone takes one of the paths, they kill everything on their way. This is kind of like the problem here, right? So I think right now it's a half, just because the map has got good potential, but it's just missing either complexity, or it's like too simple on one end, and on the other end, too abusive, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like taking if we fix the 2 expansions, the 3rd bases and the pocket expansions, and possibly extend the middle Then we have like 3 real paths where armies can actually maneuver. Right now we have 2 paths and everything gets stuck in the middle, and then the bases being kinda too open and just you walk the path and you kill the bases. That's kind of like what I see now, right? And there's no real ways of utilizing harassment also because there are so few paths. And yeah, I hope you understand me. I'm I'm a little bit fluffy maybe with me commenting this map, but you get a point. Visuals are really good. I would give it 1.5 at this point for sure. We could give it a 1.5 for sure. There are some nice novelties, maybe some small adjustments to make it a 2 ultimately. There were just very few things that I didn't like, but overall it was a very good looking map for sure. Yeah, so overall 6.5, so I think it's a good score. Really lives on the visuals, and there's definitely a lot of improvement potentials here. So yeah, I think it's I think this is hopefully a fair assessment of what it is. This actually has 5 completely separated paths. No, yeah, I'm not saying double. Sorry, I need to see. What were there 5 paths? Am I completely crazy now? How are there? No, there are 3 paths. Oh yeah, okay, you can. Yeah, but this path and this path. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. So it is a little bit. Yeah, okay. I actually thought about this path as 1 path. True. Yeah, because they're all very the same paths, right? They're both low ground paths. Okay, you're right. There are 5 paths. Yeah. So maybe my comment wasn't that fair in that regard. Yeah, Carrier is very strong. For air unit is overall very strong here. Yeah, but a really beautiful map. I like the purple theme. I really like the purple things. I mean, the purple theme here is really nice. It's visually extremely pleasing, for sure. Yep. Okay. How many maps did we make? We go. We went for 10 maps, guys. So we're we're 1/5 through this, and it took us almost 3 hours to get to this point. Overall, really impressive looking maps. I mean, every map we have seen so far was either interesting or great looking, and so we also had some very good standard maps. So I liked it a lot. Is this map influenced by Polaris Rhapsody at all? I don't think it's something. It's really. No, I don't think it's Polaris. Well, yeah, the natural, maybe. The natural base mineral on this, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe a little bit resembles Polaris Rhapsody, maybe, but it's just such a different map, I think. So, and by the way, Polaris Rhapsody is not a good map in today's standards, so it is what it is. When will you continue to review the remaining maps? I can't promise yet. Maybe I'll try to do it tomorrow, depending on how I feel. I've been feeling a little bit sick these days, so not so good. I've been sleeping for most of the days. Yeah, the Twilight map is also, yeah, sure, but I don't think that's how we should judge if it resembles the same townsend, right? Then it's also resembling Neo Bifrost, if you know that map. If we're just judging by Twilight. Yeah, I will try to maybe review tomorrow for an additional 2 hours or so, and then we're just gonna continue over the week if I have time to do so. So it's a lot of fun for me to do it, but again, I want to do it far away. So speaking of Bifrost, what is it, Nagnar? I'm just gonna hang out for the last question. I'm gonna save the file so we have all the scores. You can't wait to watch reviewing my maps. Okay, absolutely. I'm going alphabetically. So depending on the letters you have, then you can aim at knowing where I am. So at some point, would you review Bifrost and how it would be changed to be playable these days? Yeah, Bifrost is completely broken in so many ways. It just doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, I played a lot of Bifrost because I started playing StarCraft in 1998, and then I started playing online after 2000s. So I was actually a very active player around 2002 or something like when Bifrost was around, and I never understood why I'm like losing Zerg versus Terran there. And now I understand when I was losing. Now I understand why I was losing Zerg versus Terran. Right? It's a complete broken map in so many ways. Anyhow. All right, guys. Thanks for tonight. I mean, it was a lot of pleasure to review this and also interact with everyone in chat. Thank you, Spider, for a hefty donation of 20 bucks again. Really appreciate this. I'm gonna be continuing reviewing these maps over the next couple of days. So hopefully we're gonna be done with this till you know, by the next weekend. I will hope to be done with this, right? So maybe we can squeeze a stream tomorrow, maybe a stream around Wednesday, and then maybe another Friday and Saturday, something like this. So cheers everyone, and let's give a nice ride to Gypsy. Thank you everyone for joining, and see you next time.